Hello. Hi. I'm back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of your favorite Momentum Mod team podcast. I'm Nick, aka Goknek. I'm the project lead and development lead of Momentum Mod. Back. I wasn't here last time. I'm getting some echo from you, Happy. But speaking of Happy, I'm joined with some of my lovely team members here. We'll go down the list. You guys can introduce yourselves, and we'll get going. We'll get playing.
Where's the list? I don't see
It's
the order.
Gordy,
Okay.
starting with Gordy.
Okay,
Yeah.
David. Hi, everyone. I am the web developer at Momentum. I do random web stuff, and currently I'm working on the profile page, and that's kind of it. I help there and there, and yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, a lot of awesome web work, which I think we showed off a couple Q&A streams ago. There's going to be a lot more stuff to show off as we approach O10, but
We'll have it deployed soon.
yeah, we'll have it up. But yeah, moving on to Happy. Oh, we can't hear you.
My Discord got broke apparently. Can I introduce myself
Guys,
later?
Yeah, that's fine. We can skip over. All right, moving on to Panzer.
Hello, I'm Panzer. I'm a mapper, tool developer, currently working on engine changes, getting the map selector integrated with our new backend system, also updating our zone maker with the new zoning files. So pretty excited about that stuff. Looking forward to O10. And yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, yeah. And last but not least, we got Tom.
Oh shit, it's me already. Hi. Sorry, I just fired the railgun in game and it was like incredibly loud. It like scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Tom. I'm web dev lead and do a lot of game UI, and I'm currently working on Lampa. You might have seen me streaming it, which is a silly little program for editing PSP files, because we need it for O10, which is update coming out quite soon that we'll talk about.
Yeah, actually, that leads us right into it. Our first asked question that we always get, what has everyone been up to? I actually want to start us off with a little bit of a demonstration of something. So a while ago, I think it was 4 Q&A streams ago, I mentioned that, or maybe it was more, but I mentioned that KZ is undergoing kind of, we've picked a direction, right? And we've brought on Game Chaos in order to help us implement modes for that. Some of the work that Game Chaos has already done has been including a couple of new game modes. I don't know if you guys can really see these, but we have a couple of styles of movement that we wanted to show off. So I'm going to start with an old but a gold method of movement, climb from CS 1.6, and we're going to go into a map from that era. Was it BKZ, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So there's a couple of exciting improvements coming down the pipeline with O10. Right, with the refactors that we're doing, we are whoops. Okay, here we go.
Might it be really annoying just to preface that like O10 isn't just climb.
Correct.
Just because people are getting that impression straight away. I just want to say, right, this is the thing we've got to show off, and it's cool.
Yes.
We'll show off some zoning stuff as well soon. Just to be super clear, the new modes are like 5% of the of O10, or like they're significant, but like we'll talk about the more sort of fundamental stuff.
They're more of a flashy thing that we could show off. That a lot of people could be excited for. Yeah. So this is CS 1.6 movement ported over to Strata to Source Engine. It is coming along with O10, mainly because it needs a lot of love and care. But with O10, right, the reason why it's coming with O10 is we're redoing all of our systems so that we can have different game modes and sub modes and Half-Life style bunny hop, 1.6 style climb. All of these are like sub modes, right? And so what better, right, to show it off than getting the movement in and ready for O10 and adding these modes, because, and what Tom, sorry, to focus on what Tom was saying here, O10 isn't just new modes; it's a complete overhaul of the underlying system of the game, right? Coming from a very statically like, oh, there's only going to be like 5 or 6 total game modes to like, oh, each mode could like have a different like subset of movement and like play differently and stuff. And like, oh yeah, we need to like account for like all these like weapon modes and replays and stuff. And how are like bonuses and like doing like world record checkpoint or like, you know, like individual level like speedruns going to work. So that along with like ranking, right? Like a lot of this is just been kind of thought over and just iterated on and like slowly improved. We finished the spec, which is like writing up all of that a while ago. We're now in the implementation phase.
Yeah, we
and
finished
so
that about September, and it's been
yes, it's been like over 6 months now of being done with specking. It's just implementing and testing, and it's going really well. It's just slow. It's a slow moving rolling ball, right? Like we can't speed that up because we aren't paying anyway. It's all volunteers, right? So we appreciate your patience, by the way, because this stuff is coming. It's just very, very slow, but it's coming, and it will be very, very polished. And O10 will be a nice, like, kind of package that everybody can enjoy, including some new styles of movement. Yeah, we think this map might actually not be exactly the Gold Star, so it's like ported.
This is the CSGO port, and I'm pretty sure this jump is like impossible or nearly impossible. So
yeah,
let me just cut in for a moment there. So like as Nick was saying, like with O10 zoning, like or like with a lot of the stuff we've rewritten, right? So with momentum, it's like people are currently playing on the playtest. We have like it's for one, we don't have like stage times, things like that, right? And we also have a very clunky back end that's been like really hard to work with. We've not really been able to add new stuff to. And then off the back of that, we've had the fact we've got like stage stuff coming in and all that, and we need the back end to be able to do way more stuff and be way more performant and have better stats and everything. And then given that there are just way more modes and we have like all these weird cases with zones to handle, we kind of knew that we were going to have to like rewrite zoning anyway, and that's been O10 for like years now. It's been like on the cards, like the O10 zoning rewrite. But like kind of off the back of what Nick's saying, like the trying to get like every mode to make sense has been like such a big thing. So yeah, we spent months specking stuff out, and now we've had like there's so much like nuance in implementing stuff. So like if you think of like something like Bhop when it comes to like start conditions and like cases of like different modes and like when a stage time should start versus like the Sean Connery start, like as opposed to like the main track time, all this stuff, like endless weird edge cases and things. We've basically been in edge case hell for the last year.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So part of the reason I'm saying this is I just want to clarify that this is not like just new mode related. Like we've known we were going to have to do this for a while, but like, what we have I think managed to do, and we're really excited about this, is that like we seem to have the zoning stuff like make really quite a lot of sense for like all of these different modes, including defrag, and which is especially hard, and like also we have all this sub mode system, right? So alongside all these back end changes that we've had with and all the zoning stuff, like we've got map submission coming, and with map submission we're making it so when you submit maps you can submit for like multiple modes at once, and so for us we can actually like add new modes relatively easily, and like with I'm sorry, what am I saying? Lost my thought. With momentum in the past, like we kind of wanted to do stuff like Half-Life 1 Bunny Hop for a while, but haven't, because it's just we don't want to sort of muddy the pool of different game modes and stuff too much, and we felt that like it was just gonna like overcomplicate stuff way too much. With O10, we kind of get a lot more freedom to do that anyway, so like we can come in and we can do this. So Half-Life 1 Bhop, which we've wanted to do for ages and is really cool. And also like Climb, right? Climb we haven't done because there's 3 different variants of Climb that people play arguably. Yeah. And like for a while we were kind of claiming that like, oh, we're gonna just unify them into one big mode or whatever, which like I'm gonna be honest, secretly I never believed we were gonna do. From the start I was a skeptic there. But especially with GameCast on the team, who's not only a really good programmer but really, really knows an immense amount about Climb overall and can like be a really good kind of for us, like as non-climbers, most of us on the team, right? Like we need people that can like explain everything well to us and like
Explain
make the case
and-
for, like doing stuff in a certain way.
Yeah, and help us design a mode that players just want to play. Because it's not about unification; it's about bringing options that players would like. So we will. I think the overall consensus is we will have 3 modes. There will be, I believe, vanilla VNL from CS:GO, 1.6, which is what you're seeing right now, and our kind of mom KZ, like based on SKZ. Yeah, very sort of SKZ.
Mixed up.
Yeah.
By the way, these stairs you can get up using double ducking, which just means crouching twice in rapid succession. So I can kind of just walk right up these just by spamming crouch.
Yeah, I don't think we mean vanilla. Gamecast, you might be able to clarify.
Oh, sorry.
KZT, the one with like
KZT, that's it. Sorry.
The one that everyone plays.
Yeah,
the one that someone got mad
misconstrued
at
it
us when I insulted it a few streams back.
Yeah.
Someone said like the momentum team know nothing about climb.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Like some of us don't know that much, but
let that be proof.
Gamecast does know quite a lot. So we've been largely going on what Gamecast says and some other community members, but yeah, with O10 and like having the freedom of the new backend, right? And the front end as well, and all the map submission stuff, and we've been working on tooling and stuff like that. All this stuff that allows map submission to actually take place and to like get maps really polished and like make entities make sense for like multiple different modes, things like that. We can be a bit more relaxed with adding these new modes. Again, just to be completely clear, like most of our dev time doesn't go into the new modes.
Right. Yes.
Generally,
this
what we
was
do
just
is
Game Chaos's work.
Yeah.
Towards a first implementation of the 1.6 KZ mode.
So generally we license people, or quite often we license people primarily as game mode developers, like Lumia for Defrag, and Game Chaos for Climb. But a lot of the time those developers then go on to do loads of other stuff as well. Like Lumia's been doing stuff in all sorts of other places. Lumia's another kind of like, it really helps to have people that just really understand certain game modes very, very well.
Yeah.
And I think Lumia's kind of in that spot for kind of source movement in general, but especially Defrag and TF2 based stuff. But has also done stuff in Ahop, and Lumia really knows a lot. And then Gamecast is someone who knows like Counter-Strike based stuff very, very well, especially Climb. But I think Gamecast plays Surf and Bhop as well, I think. I'm not too sure. Roady, we need more B-hoppers. We have quite a few B-hoppers on the team. HUD menu show Climb. There's a thing apparently that we have. But so what we often do is like we'll have some of the sort of more core developers who have been doing the more general stuff, like I guess Rio, myself, and people where we kind of work on the more sort of general game things. But by doing that and making a lot of progress there with these new zones, with the backend changes, we get to then have fun with the new game modes as well. So whilst we are showing off these modes as these kind of fun things because they're there to be played, they're kind of, in a way, they're kind of a product of being able to do them in a way that's not like a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't want to take away from the work the Gamecast and Lumia and people have put into the game mode stuff, because it's obviously really fundamental, but I love the port.
But and just to reiterate, it is not the only thing that O10 has, or the only thing that we've been working on, or anything like that. So this is just one of the visual things we can like show off in a weird janky state while we work towards the other more like core things of O10, while still really important for the future of the game as well. So it's like this would have come. Oh no, I didn't. But I'll.
You want to set it up real quick? Let's switch over to the map.
Or should I show off Rio's work, or do we want to show off Half-Life 1 Bhop while we talk about?
While we're talking about, okay, fine, yeah, we'll come back to them. So let's do HR1 Bhop then.
Before move on, mic check. There is no echo, I hope.
No echo so far.
Okay, yeah, just keep talking. You'll be fine.
What happened? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm happy. I still do music.
Okay.
I still do stuff for the game. Translating music. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got a lot of translation work coming up with O10 as well. It's kind of dry right now because we don't really have a lot of new UI yet. But O10 will have a ton of UI that needs translating. So
O10 and post O10, especially as we start working on Learn More, we're gonna have a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, so what are we gonna move to? What map do we want to play next? We want to do.
Do you want to do Arcane, Panzer, or which map?
I'll play Arcane.
So we're gonna show off the AG Tricks one.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, that's right. With
I just have the map selector. You're gonna have the Black Panzer. It's like just crashed.
Yeah, don't use map selector. It doesn't support these new builds
Just to
yet.
be clear, me, Nick, and Panzer are all playing on builds we've done ourselves.
A very janky personal build of
It's a
O10.
very janky build.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be cleaned up and put on a branch for
something.
everyone, yeah.
O10 like has all these big changes and refactors, so rewiring everything just takes a load of effort.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the menu thing? HUD menu show. You might have played this yourself and show it on stream.
Oh yeah, the climb menu, right?
Oh right, we have climb menus. Yeah.
So yeah, let me that's right. You gotta press control.
I'm not quite sure when this will be in game or like because some of this promo stuff is going to be styles, which aren't going to be in for O10.
So yeah, so there's the climb. Yeah, that's right. The checkpoint menu, the climb checkpoint menu.
Yeah.
So you can set. I don't think this has zones, so I won't be able to actually show off like the it working in game. But we do have a climb like teleport menu. So
I didn't even know that. That's sick.
yeah, so that's implemented as well, and that will be obviously part of the game mode, where you can have no teleports versus using teleports in the run.
And then we'll have separate leaderboards for the two of them. That's going to have like native leaderboard support. That's another one of those things where we've had to like where we had to spend months like speccing everything and designing all this stuff. And so one of them is styles. So in like half sideways and surf, and then surf and bhop, and then maybe like no jump we might do in jump and rocket jump, and then climb has pro mode, which is when you don't use teleports. And figuring out how to make that work with our backend in particular is really hard, right? Because our backend like is quite a complex thing, and it is kind of it's not incredibly brittle, but it's like brittle enough that you kind of have to like design the stuff from the start and then build off of that, right? As opposed to you can't just add random features out of nowhere and they don't just like magically work, right? Because it's just the nature of like complicated backend systems, right? And so with styles, we won't have styles for O10, but they'll be in probably between O10 and O11 or O11, most likely O11, I'd say. That will then have this fancy system where, like, if you do a run and you don't use TPs, and it will be on the pro mode leaderboard. If it does use if it doesn't, it'll also be on the non-pro mode leaderboard because, like, it kind of trivially qualifies for the thing that does use TPs, right? But Rio save state thing isn't that will come a bit later.
Yep.
The save state thing is something where let's talk about that later.
There's a lot of stuff coming. I mean, we do, however, have Rio's work that we'll show off after this map. Towards the new zones and the new timers. Timers, multiple. And yeah, it's a lot of great work that it's going to be a little hard to show off because it's like in debug like text, which is tiny. I'll try my best to show it off somehow. I might make like a little crop. But yeah, so the main movement here, by the way, is Half-Life 1 bunny hop. The previous map was 1.6 KZ movement. So we have two forms of gold source movement in Strata now.
We might have slightly different names in the future. I'm not sure.
And I believe Conc is going to be 1.6 based as well in the future.
Yeah, like the base. So because it kind of mimics that, but it's a bit less close.
Yeah.
Please play Conc. That's a fake please play Conc. I was streaming the other day, and someone did the like official 10,000 points please play Conc whilst I was like deeply focused in some work.
Oh no.
Getting bullied into actually like stopping working and playing
on Conc, yeah. But I guess in terms of what everyone else has been up to, I moved as it's clear the background's changed. I got a little expensive in my previous apartment, so downsized a little bit, saving $1,000 a month. Let's go, California, yay! But
I'm hoping to see the cat at some point.
Yeah, I also have a new furry friend. His name is Walter. He might show up, and he's currently on his window perch over there. just spying on people. So we'll see if he makes a guest appearance either on the cat wheel behind me or just jumping up on the desk. He was climbing on top of me right before we started.
Yeah,
but he
I
jumped
kind of wanted
down.
to start streaming early just to like.
Yeah, just to show that off. But we'll see. We'll see if he comes around. But he's just over there chilling. And for the majority of my work on Momentum, it's been production deploy. So I've talked about this, I think, before. We're doing a small-scale production deploy for 0.10.0 using kind of just the new backend that Tom and others have been working on, but also just new safe practices, moving things fully over into S3 buckets as opposed to the current website, which is like a hybrid weird setup. And yeah, we're just going to see, we're going to set monitoring up, start getting kind of metrics. I know it won't really be that impactful because it's still a limited playtest, but as we start to let more and more players in, and as we're doing more and more work and have more and more features, it's really good to have all of these in place so that by the time we start to do our big dedicated server deploy, right, and we start to maybe scale out how many API nodes there are and stuff, we can start to see how it's impacting, and if we even need to do that. So that's like the most important thing, right? So yeah, it's been a lot of just production stuff, and it's exciting because once we get like a hang of this, it's should ideally just go forward, and we'll be solid for 1.0 launch. We won't be another launch catastrophe, which I think has been a question before on the Q&A, is like, how do you ensure that the launch goes all right? It's just monitoring and just testing and seeing and being realistic.
And a really big part of that is given that we'll get a big influx of people of 0.10, hopefully.
Oh no, the game crashed.
Oh
really?
yeah. This map has crashed before.
It crashed. It didn't crash for me. I don't know.
That's funny.
Panzer's crashed.
This map was converted with an auto-converting tool. That game
yeah. We have a lot of like work in progress tooling right now. We had a question on that, or that we'll talk about tooling a bit more.
Yeah, we have some asked questions about that.
Just want to say on the like kind of DevOps side is like, so we want to keep our server costs like relatively cheap, right? We think we can do that because we're smart, but like you do need to like, there's basically this whole other world of like server administration and like monitoring and like getting like monitoring resource usage and stuff that like is so boring, but like so powerful and so important to get that data, because it's just fundamentally just informs like how you design future systems. So for 0.10, like getting like really good metrics and stuff in place, or observability, is like so key for us. I'll keep talking so you can set up the OBS thing.
Yeah, I'm setting up the thing right now. Hold on.
So yeah, with the backend rewrite and stuff in place, we've got this old backend rewrite that we've not actually deployed yet. Like no one's really used it besides like we have a shitload of tests, right? So code that runs and checks everything works well, and we've run stuff locally quite a bit. We've not done a full deploy of the new thing yet. I'm so excited for it. But yeah, getting all that like sort of.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's a reference. Dang it. Okay. Well, sorry. You can keep talking. I'll figure it out. 1 second.
Yeah, we're very excited. DevOps is so boring. Like I mean Nick does more DevOps stuff than the rest of us, I think, at work. Kind of, but like it's kind of this whole other world. We are, most of us, programmers, not like systems administrators and DevOps engineers and things. But it should go relatively well. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling to fill time here. Well, I guess I'm just going to slightly introduce what we're going to talk about next, which is so zoning. Zoning we've needed to rework for a while now. With the old zoning system wasn't great, but also like a lot of edge cases to handle, and then stage times and bonuses. I did play Conc yesterday, cuz. So stage times, bonuses, those are coming for 0.10. We kind of, I think, at the current milestone thing, we have them for 0.11, but it made sense to do them for 0.10 with how the construction got worked out. So Rio is doing the bulk of work of that. We're currently on a branch that's in review right now. Rio has written like genuinely like the cleanest, most like excellent code for this. Like a lot of our stuff's pretty good, but I really like how like Rio's designed all the new zoning stuff. It's actually just like, it makes me really happy knowing that like this like really fundamental system for our game is done so well now, and it's been for us like we were saying, like it was months of work, like just like designing the whole thing, like just going over all the different kind of edge cases and stuff, and like taking a lot of inspiration and influence and whatever from like existing game servers and how they do that stuff and different leaderboards and things. But then in Momentum's case, we have more game modes to think about, but also kind of more ambitions and more complex integrations with things like replays. We have anti-G to think about. It's really hard to get right and design everything, but we spent a long time on it, and I think we had really constructive and kind of like I really enjoyed working with everyone in these meetings because it felt like we were all kind of got to a point of like really clicking and like very productively kind of working through the stuff. And now Rio, God bless him, has done the bulk of the actual like core zoning and timer stuff. That again, the stuff is currently in code review. It's thousands of lines of changes.
4,500, just about.
There's actually not that many. 4,000 in a way, 4,000 lines isn't that many. But when you look at the code and how sort of
it's just one piece of everything we're doing.
Yeah, it's all kind of like it's this case of like that certain code where like you need to handle a lot of different edge cases at once tends to be like getting it all right is a nightmare. Anyway,
okay,
so
oh, nice.
I think I got it.
We got it.
Wait, is it not updating? What?
You gotta. Oh, it's not updating.
Hold on. I just gotta probably refresh it. No, come on, what? Oh my god, it's been this long since I've done OBS stuff. Why is this? What?
I guess I have that map I can join.
Capture method. Come on. Okay. I don't know why it's not updating. It's a window capture of the same game. Why would it not do that? Okay, do I have to
Leave full screen?
Can't you make the
Am I
clone
still?
of the current source of the Windows source? You know the
no, it was when I copied and pasted it, it was a reference, and it wasn't giving me the option to duplicate it. Can you only have? No, I'm in full screen windowed. That's weird. That's really odd.
Can't you just make another source and just?
Yeah, that's what I did. Window capture, and then I cropped it, and then I've never. Okay, so if I don't crop it, okay, wait, is it now going? No, it's also frozen. That's so weird. I've never seen this happen before. It's not like locked or anything either.
You want to
How do you know if it's updating or not? You're not even. Oh, sorry.
It should be on the screen, right? You guys can see that, right? It's just like frozen as if I was paused.
The background, yeah. Okay.
It's weird.
Maybe you change the capture method or something.
Yeah, let me try that. Capture method. Let me do Windows 10. Oh. Was it using the window? Oh, it was. Okay. I guess it was using the Windows 7 method for some reason.
Nice.
Anyway. Okay,
so,
cool.
This is not the future UI for this, obviously.
No.
Some rather fancy debug UI really made. And well, Nick, you've not actually used this stuff before, have you?
No.
So
No, I haven't.
okay, I think I understand the stuff well enough that I can talk through it. Unless you want to, Pansy, you might be a bit better.
I could try to help.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
talk about this, but
yeah, we don't have Rio here, unfortunately. Maybe we should have tried to time it so we could get Rio. But okay. So main tracks, stage tracks. This stuff it should be relatively intuitive. It's not. A lot of this isn't complicated in itself. It's mostly just how you handle edge cases. But I guess the fundamentals of it, right? We now have a main timer, a stage timer. Sorry, a main timer like a stage timer. But the main track is like you have main track, stages, bonuses. A constraint we decided to keep was you can only have one main track. We considered allowing multiple main tracks, but we decided not to because it just gets too complicated. And in the rare cases where you do need it, you could just have multiple maps on the map selector. It's not the end of the world having that. But so the core thing is, you can be in multiple timers at once. So you can be doing the main track run and have a stage timer. What's complicated is then deciding, like, if you're doing a main track one, what counts as a stage run. And so some maps, right, like some like stage linears, right? Like if you go into that stage with a ton of speed, do you then allow runs of just that stage with that like initial starting speed? We decided no. So in a map like Surf Ace or Surf Nexus, I get confused. It's like multiple names for it. Or like Omnific. Let's talk about Omnific. That's a good example. Like Omnific, you can start a stage track and you can like go through the teleporter of the previous stage, right, and have just like a shitload of speed. I think some servers will just time that based on whatever speed you come in with, and that's considered legit. We've decided to not do that. We discussed this quite a bit, and we decided it. We'd much rather, like, if people want to compete for times on stage 16 of Omnific, you shouldn't need to run stage 15 first just to get into stage 16 with like optimal speed, then do stage 16. It's from like a standing start, I think. And so the core idea there is we have this prime state, which is like when the timer is able to be started. So if Nick, if you're in this like purple, here you're outside of the like top height of the zone. Sorry, I should really be specking you so I can see this in real time.
That's the safe height.
Oh, here, I gotta join the... I'm joined back here, yeah.
Yeah, got it, yeah, I see it.
What's going on?
No, it's all good. And so if you're not in this prime state, we'll show that on the UI, and then that won't start a stage run. So if you have a certain amount of speed, right, if you're in stage 16 of Omnific because you came in from 15 and you've got a shitload of speed, you won't be in the prime state, so you can't start the stage run. Whilst if your speed goes down to like below a certain threshold, you'll enter the prime state, and then your run will start when you leave that zone, right? So prime state is just this kind of special state that I'm not sure quite how we'll show in UI. We might have that term and use it. It's not too complicated. But we really did want to...
It looks like it's in the HUD already. We just have to add translation.
Yeah. It will be a status token, basically.
I think the main thing we don't have in the HUD right now is showing like stage time stuff as your main track run's going. That might just be in the comparisons.
Yeah.
But we'll do that. Comparisons we want to work on a lot and get really polished. I did that and kind of rushed it, to be honest. But then some of these edge cases, we have a text document. Where is it? That talks about this quite a bit of like these endless edge cases that we're trying to handle.
It's in the zip. There were test cases in
the zip. So so there's a 3-stage main track, and then all these obstacles above the start zone.
Yeah.
Drop teleports. We've got. I guess the first one thing that's really worth talking about. Sorry, this isn't very prepared presentation or anything. Rio could do this way better. If you think about rocket jump and sticky jump maps, you can have courses that themselves have checkpoints, right? Like Baku or Cuba and all that stuff. Like has like 3 courses and then a bunch of checkpoints there. I'm a bit confused as to the terminology here, and sometimes we've been calling them major and minor checkpoints. So I think we're now moving to segments. You might know this better, Panzer. I'm not going to comment on the terminology itself too much because
segment is like an internal term that we're using, so I don't think I would use it.
Yeah, I think we might. I think in general we just say that it's like courses and.
Oh God, let's see the cat.
That's Walter. He likes to ride our backs a lot. That's his recent habit. But yeah,
hear a meow in the background.
yeah, he goes a lot. Anyway, sorry, awesome. Didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah.
If Grimace starts moving in the background of mine, I'm gonna be.
That's terrifying.
Just walks off. And so that's really cool, right? That you can have courses that themselves have checkpoints, right? And so we know we're going to want that for jump. There's no reason not to have that for other modes, and so you can. If you want to do a surf map that has like some stages that are really long, like you might think of like maybe Overgrowth or I don't know, like some of the Elysium maps and stuff. I don't play surf that much, to be honest. That's completely legit. You can do that now. If you want to checkpoint a surf a stage thing, you can. That's just, and it makes sense, right, to have that, right?
Yeah. I guess I should point out for this map specifically, this is kind of going over all of the edge cases with the new system.
Yeah.
So specifically with this start zone, you can see this purple zone. This is kind of our, like, we're calling it safe start, like, height. Like, you have to be within, safe height. This is like the height that you have to be within for it to count as priming your timer. So instead of what we currently have in Momentum, where you just have your timer is either running or not, really, right? We now have effectively 3 states where there's primed, disabled, and running. And so you have to go from a disabled state into primed in order to start a run. And that's where we check everything, right? So if you do, you can see this here, if we just jumped and like fell through and didn't hit the ground, it wouldn't start. If we like, I think have too much speed, which I don't think there's a booster up here, but if I like gain a bunch of speed, you can see the speed, which is also an asked question. The speed actually gets reset to a kind of like normal start speed. And then I think if I don't hit this safe height, I think it won't prime. If I can bunny hop over there, just give me a sec.
The reason for that safe height boundary is to prevent people from like climbing on boxes. That's a thing on turf maps where people will just like climb on boxes to get extra height and more speed at the start of a stage.
So like while the safe height allows this, I could jump from this through and start it. But if I come over above it, like up here outside of it and try to jump through it, it's disabled. So it will never start. You have to prime your timer there.
There's also, we have apparently, there's might have some bonuses.
Yeah, I wasn't able to find them, but you can see that this system also allows for, being able to launch out of a start zone and have a bunch of speed, right? Without, like there's the difference between bunny hopping for speed, which I think it's successfully preventing that.
Cool is,
I'm not getting over 350.
To come back into the start zone.
Yes.
With that speed, I think. I don't.
There's no ramp here to show that.
Maybe one of you like understand it. This should prevent C boosting, I think, but I'm not quite sure how it does. But I think that's the idea, but so a lot of the kind of so we haven't said, but Rio is the lead dev on Horizon, or a dev on Horizon. I lose track. So Rio's done a lot of timer stuff before, and so things like C boosting and like just silly stuff in like spawn and like getting like stupid starts.
Yeah.
Like we've all discussed it quite a lot, but Rio's been like particularly fastidious with handling these cases.
So there's 2 methods of preventing crouch boosting that I'm aware of that we're planning on implementing. One is the trigger set speed. It's like whenever you hit the trigger push, it's just going to set your speed. You can't like abuse the fact that you hit it twice.
Yeah.
And the other method is just disabling the trigger the first time you hit it with the save state system.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if you hit it twice, the second time it's just
sure. Oh, so you're kind of making it like a trigger once, and then because the save state system will save kind of this save restore, however we're calling it, which is basically we're not having this in 010, but this will be a future thing, and we're basically confirming this because it is an important thing for anti-cheat. In the future, when you reset a map in Momentum, it will entirely reset the state of... When you reset a run, it will entirely reset the state of the map. So any like glass windows or whatever you broke, things like that will be reset to how they were before. And so you could... I don't know if we would make it a trigger once, but you get the idea, right? In Source, you have trigger multiple, trigger once, and trigger once is just a single case of a trigger multiple. You can only trigger it once. So a way to prevent that then is just going to be at the moment you hit this, you can't trigger it again. But with the new system, if you do a reset, all trigger onces are going to be reset and can be used again because the map is going back to its complete baby state. I said like baby and your 2-year-old cat.
He's gonna go up onto the dresser. Oh, there he goes. I don't know if the stream could see him that much, but he's up there.
I'm making a clip. I enjoyed that.
Hopefully he starts running on his wheel. But there you go. He's in the corner of the camera now. Just hang out there. He really wants to go back into the closet because he likes climbing up to like we have like shelves in there, and he likes going up to the top and just like looking down at us. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Oh, he's such a sweet boy too. Like he's actually like he warms up to people really quickly. Like he warmed up to us in like a day or two, which is like unheard of. Like he was really just like he's just so sweet.
Oh, look at him.
We have a crinkle bag too, and I was like, I don't know if that's pretty loud. Like it sounds like someone's opening a bag of chips every time he plays with it. So, but yeah, he'll be roaming around back there. Just don't worry too much about him. Yeah, it's awesome. So you can see in this pop-up, right? There's a main timer that's still running. This is a course that has 3 stages. And so I just hit stage 2, and you can see that my stage 2 timer gets primed if I go back in, and then yeah. Does it predict when I would like leave the? That's crazy. I'm not sure what the negative time.
There's like a pre-run. Like if you're
ground strafing,
it'll count that in your pre-run.
It counts it. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
And that's mostly for like replay recording.
Yeah. Gotcha. Sweet. So then, yeah, here's stage 2. I'm doing stage 2, and then it finishes there, and then yeah. Oh, okay. What? Canceling running timer because wait, maybe that. Okay, hold on. Yeah. So, I guess I don't know if this. That might be a bug actually. That's cool.
You're supposed to be allowed to go back to stage 2. That's kind of a weird case.
Yeah, maybe that's why it broke.
Discuss this, but I could be wrong.
And then, yeah, 3 was disabled because I didn't prime it properly. And then now it's running. And then, yeah, there's a checkpoint right here. And then the end. Yeah. So I guess that was a bug with the stage 2. Let me see if I can trigger it again without... so, yeah, here's...
I'll put it in his merge request. You can backtrack and start your previous stage timers.
We really should have tried to get Rio in the Q&A.
Yeah, this is a lot of Rio's work that we're kind of like struggling to explain properly because there's still a lot that needs to be converted into UI.
So Rio's shown this. Sorry, Rio showed this off in a big meeting. Sorry for interrupting.
You're all good. No, yeah.
But so we've kind of looked through this and we've also reviewed all the code. But like a lot of these kind of like esoteric little bits, like. He could explain this so much better than we could. And again, like because we've done all the stuff with Horizon stuff in the past, like we've discussed it a lot as a team, but I feel like Rio's been like particularly. Oh my god!
Here he goes. We're gonna add cat wheel movement into the next update.
It is noisy.
It's very squeaky. I need to figure out how to grease the wheel properly.
It's like kind of limbering up.
Yeah, he's getting ready for it. He's a little camera shy too.
Anyway, we'll be able to show this off more in the future anyway, right? Because this is like a scuffed thing where we're playing it literally as it's still in code review.
Yes, yeah.
But so we'll show this off more in the future Q&As. Obviously, also this isn't hooked up to the back end yet. We'll do that in the near future. A lot of the back end changes we've done like are in anticipation of this. It's just that we've not done some of that final wiring up yet.
Yeah.
That might be something that I work on pretty soon.
Yeah. That's been really one of the nice things with O10 is it's been a lot of devs who like in some cases brought on for quite specific things who have now become a lot more competent in like a much more sort of broad areas of momentum dev. And so, Nick's rides here.
That's Walter pulling up now.
So, for instance, with like Panzer we kind of threw into like the worst bit because Panzer had to do like map selector, so like some backend stuff, then panorama, like all this kind of half-done code stuff. But I felt quite bad for Panzer. But what we get out of it is we get devs that like now know a lot about quite a broad range of systems. So you know, Panzer can now work on some of this kind of back-end related run submission stuff, and it's a lot more coordinating things. one of the scary things with projects like this. This is a bit of a sort of abstract point, but it's very easy to have some people that really understand certain systems very, very well, and then no one else does. And even if that system then ends up being very well written and clear to that person, you might not. It might then just not be particularly like useful in the future, and you end up with a lot of just kind of code residue of stuff that like just isn't really helpful because no one quite understands how it's meant to work properly or whatever. And with like the new backend, I think a lot of that's a lot better, hopefully, because we've designed a lot of that stuff like very collaboratively, and with the zoning stuff. And as we're doing stuff like code review with Rio now, we just spend a ton of time like just reading everything, not just for the sake of reviewing it, but so that all of us kind of understand it. And I think I'm really pleased that we're doing that with these systems, because they are like, you do need multiple people that like understand it deeply to like, for projects like this to have any longevity.
Yeah. Especially as they get more complex with more game modes that you have to write edge cases into and stuff. But speaking of edge cases, I was testing out this one where you prime your timer, right? But then you jump out and come back in. Again, you have to re-prime your timer to start it again. So, I don't think this zone has it, but in the case where you come out and come back in, right, like you then prime your timer and you would have to leave the zone again. So, like with this boost, if like it starts the timer, but then we came back in, or if I could get back in, let me see if I can. See, like it resets the player to like reprime. So like, and if there's game modes like Defrag where you start the timer and repriming should probably be manual, or like you should stop or something and like have it reprime, we could add those cases in as well. This is, I think, it's supposed to be like surf edge cases specifically, this map. I think there's also a Bhop one.
And I think there is like, if you can anticipate the edge cases beforehand, you don't have to make band-aid fixes. And those are the worst for programmers. Like if you have all these like explicit checks for like weird cases that you've had to add to retroactively, like you easily get code bases that are just horrible. And for us with momentum and zoning, it's been really important to not get that and to get like quite a lot of this done very cleanly from the start, because then you don't have this like spaghetti band-aid stuff. And like again with the stuff that we've written, like this stuff is just really clear and like really logical and coherent. Oh my god! And it just old momentum stuff was like with the old zoning stuff, like trying to add stage times and stuff into that, right, would have just been really, really gross, because it's so much harder to. Also, drop teleports. Drop teleports. Like we spent a lot of time discussing, like that stage on some mashup or whatever, and what were some of the other things of you can have a multiple region. We have a distinction between regions and volumes.
Yes.
So volumes can contain one or more regions. And that means that you can have, some surf maps where, it might be some really old school map like Graphite or whatever it's called. What is it? The where you have you have spawns on like both sides of like a thing. It used to be like T and CT spawns and things like that. Being able to like have both of those be, I guess in that case they could kind of just be one coherent region anyway. But I forget, there were some other maps where like you can't do that very well, and you kind of do want to have two different regions that correspond to like the same like zone change thing, which we call volumes. So regions are kind of like triggers, but then volumes are collections of triggers. Usually just one, but can be multiple. We spent a lot of time talking about this actually.
Linguisti, sorry if I butchered the name, ask, can you touch the trigger from the outside, get the boost but not the rest on that map? Like touch the boost trigger but not the zone. I guess
That
it's
should have been possible.
Like as in starting the timer and hitting the boost? Like you can come back in for the boost after you start your timer?
No, the point is, if you were to come back into the zone and hit the trigger again, if you were in the area that contains the trigger, you'd go back into would it be a prime state? I think so, right?
Yeah.
So if you then leave again, your time is gonna restart.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn around. I don't think I can with this angle. Let me try.
When it comes to things like
Damn.
uh,
The set speed.
player collision and triggers, this is again another thing that Ria should talk about more. But there's some specific stuff when it comes to trigger collisions that Ria's done some work on, and generally we're very confident in triggers getting hit stuff.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this is obviously we have our spec, we have code review, but we're going to have an O10 branch that will have some maps in the new backend and everything that we want you guys to break the shit out of it, right? Like this is not in any way going to be like finalized. Like we're doing a branch on playtest to like see, because first of all, it breaks every existing system, and then second of all, right, like it's not finalized yet because we want to make sure that we are actually checking every like kind of edge case, and all the edge cases that you guys can come up with, we start to factor in with these test maps and stuff. But yeah, was there anything else I should show off for Ria's work? I'm not sure.
Hopefully next stream I'll have the zone maker ready so we can actually have some real maps using the new system.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have Zone Maker, which is a Hammer or CLI tool that Hammer runs to convert triggers placed in VMFs into zones. And then we will have in-game zone editing tools that are being worked on by Peenscraker, Ellis. And those will be how we convert all the older maps manually, right? Into it. So
it's also necessary for like those auto converted gold source maps where you don't really have access to the VMF. I mean, maybe you can decompile them. I'm not sure. I haven't tested it, but if you can't, then you have to use the in-game tools.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's also applicable to the Defrag auto convert maps.
Yeah, and it's awesome to have these tools too, because that opens the that opens the reach of the platform to engines that aren't even like ours for maps. It's great. It's more content for you guys, and yeah, it's sweet. Yeah, I don't think I can re-trigger this. But
I mean, you could hit the push trigger without resetting your timer, but
yeah,
it depends on what kind of push trigger it is. We're going to have measures for preventing people from double boosting.
Yeah. I think this is a set speed anyway.
Yeah, set speed. If you double boost on the set speed, it's just going to reset it to whatever that value is on the trigger.
Cool. Shall we get to questions?
Yeah, let me hop over to
non-O10. I can read them.
Yeah, can I play Arcane, or do you want it? It's your map.
Yeah.
I'll play Arcane with the 1.6 settings.
Okay, cool. So 11.
Yeah, I was gonna do it on the HR121. What am I talking about?
I'm on it right now.
I need to
should I do HR1 or should I do 1.6 autohop?
It's up to you. Either one.
I was gonna do the 1.6, the autohop, bhop one.
I prefer 1.6. This is like a preference, but
should we race on like a mode that neither of us know?
I don't have Arcane on this test map. The map selector doesn't work. Dang it.
One sec. Yeah, I'll give you it. 1 sec.
I have it on my release. I think I can get it from there too. Let me see.
Invoice team.
Sweet.
Well, I've got to upload it. So it's going to be 15 seconds to upload.
I will hide this now. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff to convey. So there's HUD work that needs to be done for it, but then there's also just making sure that it's understood what the general rules are for everything. So sweet. All right, thank you.
Thank you for the prime. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you for the sub.
Can I read the questions? I kind of want to be useful today.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. So we'll start with our first one here while I set this up.
Yeah, so the first question is from Catcraft7076. Will you ever add a dedicated map editor not based on Hammer?
There was discussion around using Blender for like exporting things to like a like to VMF or like maybe exporting a BSP from like Blender directly. It'd be really cool. I think that like having that option is great, but like as always with tools and like experience and things, right? The main problem with that turns into you want to have a tool that's consistent with the level of documentation and like
Panzer, let's race.
Yeah. Okay, I'll run.
Wait, I think Gamecast was running as well.
What-
Sorry, Nick.
What settings are you on?
Gamecast and then race. I'm on 1. I'm on game mode 12.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's
Nick.
HL1. Let me switch to that.
I thought we were doing that. Right?
yeah, you guys don't have
Sorry.
one. I'll disconnect and change the game mode.
Wait, you don't need to. You're specking.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Alright, I'm rejoining with the HL1 settings.
Okay. Sorry, continue, Nick.
Anyway, it would be cool to have something like Blender, like a fully free and open source, not locked down platform that can create either VMFs or BSPs. The problem becomes the amount of development effort that would go into supporting that, and then also all of the experience that established mappers have with Hammer, right, and all of the established tutorials. Like all of those become kind of like moot because you either have to remake them or like hope that somebody does, which sucks. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I genuinely think that with enough open source like interest, it can be done. And there are projects that do Blender with source engine formats and stuff. I think that like it's not in our mission to change Hammer other than improve it. So we have changes coming that will, for example, add Qt to Hammer, which will allow us to not spite working on it.
The Qt is a UI framework. It's not so much adding, right? We do replacing. So Hammer, one of the main issues with Hammer is the UI is fucking dog shit. And so it's so hard. A lot of Hammer's code is shit, but like it's really old and like hard to do new work on without having to work with like a UI system that like nobody uses. And so Qt is like the stepping stone to be able to do more stuff, right? It's just porting everything to Qt is really hard because there's a surprising amount of stuff in Hammer.
Yeah.
I want to mention we actually already ship Qt in Hammer. We just haven't converted all of it. Right now it's actually a mix.
We have quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
SL
also hi Lumia.
Yeah, I got you.
It's all good.
The game is super laggy, unfortunately, because of the dev build.
Oh no, the debug build.
I've kind of given up. I don't know this movement like at all. It's so weird.
Yeah, you have less air control with the Half-Life 1 settings.
It's surprising like how little you have at certain times. It's quite fun. But,
yeah.
But so, I just... Well, no, sorry. Like, you go, Nick.
So I was just gonna finish off by saying that our goal really on Strata and Momentum, right, is to make Hammer better, not crash that much, make it easier to kind of get into, make more things drag and drop inside of it now that we have control. Being able to just drag and drop like just different file types in and have it auto convert or do things for you. That kind of stuff is more valuable to us than investing in the potential that Blender could be for mappers, right? Versus like some community effort to do that and then community documentation and all that, and then us doing some tie-in or like support for that, even though realistically, as long as you get a BSP out of it, we don't really mind how you do it, right? Like you don't have to use our Hammer, but so it's just really like the expertise that's there. If we can make Hammer better, that's the in my eyes the better outcome for us at least.
People like Hammer because it's Hammer, right? And because people are used to that and they're fond of it, and Hammer does have a really good workflow. It's just that in practice, like people making stuff in other engines, like I've been watching Ethan False, 3D lead. He's currently making his own game, Catboy Zoom. Shout out to Catboy Zoom. You can wishlist it or something on Steam. And he's doing all the mapping for that in Blender, and he's a 3D modeler. He's very competent with Blender, but like with like with something like that, like he's doing it in Unreal, but like most of the work is being done in Blender, and like most engines, you do a lot of that kind of stuff in a modeling program, not in the base like engine tooling. I think like Unreal and Unity, I think both in most of the time you'd usually do it in a separate program. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't do this kind of stuff, but like the main thing is like if people really like Hammer because it's Hammer, because people are really used to using it already. If we were going to remake Hammer, like if we're going to change it in a really significant way, you might as well try to build off of existing programs, especially Blender, because Blender is incredibly well made, and it's made by like Blender as an organization is fabulous, like really like a kind of crown jewel of open source software, I'd argue.
Yeah.
And so like it would make sense to work on integrating with existing tooling rather than rewriting everything from scratch.
Yeah.
And so, it would be cool to try do some kind of like mini Hammer that kind of is mostly just for kind of stitching models together, but like Source isn't made like that as well. Like Source is made as a brush-based engine, which is different from most other engines.
Yeah.
I've never used Hammer 2. Hammer 2 is really interesting, right? Because it is more mesh-based now, but it does have like mesh editing tools built in, right? As opposed to a lot of other engines where they're mesh-based, but they're the mesh building you can do in like other 3D programs, which people apparently really like Hammer 2. But like, if we were to do Hammer 2 in Source, for one, we can't because of how the engine works. But like, even if we did and we tried doing that, I don't think people would necessarily want that are used to Hammer already. But also, why not just do something like Blender in that case and build off of that?
Yeah. Yeah, because like when you know the formats, right? It's just a matter of having the tool output those formats. So with Hammer, it's hard because you need Hammer source to be able to change or like do anything, right? Versus Blender, which is fully open, and then the map format, which is also technically open. But even just having Blender do a VMF and then call VBSB, right? Like that kind of stuff.
Blender, I think, can do VMS with some stuff, but like even then, it's kind of like Hammer does specific things like lighting and rendering stuff like specific to Source, kind of there, but also entity editor stuff and all these kind of like dedicated things. Like I think a lot of people like Hammer for the grid system because it's very robust and like hardy. Like Hammer's grid system is very good, and it's not good for doing like complex detailing, right? But like for something like this map that we're looking at right now, like none of the geometry of this map is particularly complex. No offense, Panzer, but like it's lots of stuff. Right, and it's great, and it looks really good a lot of the time. It's good for the gameplay, but it also looks quite good. Like, it's just how a lot of like, how often do you see a 3D game that has like a billion tries or polys, whatever, but like the visual like clarity is terrible and it doesn't actually look that much better anyway. Like, it's quite common that like these kind of blocky things do look good on a computer screen and like in a 3D environment where you have kind of limited movement yourself, and it's I don't know, like I'm rambling. I could talk about this for so long. I think there's so much potential for game tooling that could be like amazing, but at the end of the day, like it's like watch someone that's like good with Blender, like Ethan, do like mapping work, and then you will like Hammer stuff just looks a bit pathetic after that. Not that mappers doing stuff in Hammer aren't doing great work, but like the level of like productivity you can get out of a program like Blender where you just have these complex hotkey systems that are just gorgeous to use, and it's like Vim for like for like level designers, and it seems hopeless to sort of try to copy that from our point of view because we're a small team and it's just not it's just a bad decision to try work on that. The main thing we should do is try to just make Hammer better. It's really unfortunate we've had this the UI be this like massive hurdle, right? And so having to port to Qt has taken a really, really long time. But getting us on Qt does give us a lot more freedom. And so I don't know. If I was making maps personally, I'd be doing a lot of stuff in Blender anyway, because I mean that's what Valve do. They do it in Hammer too, but they all of like the CSGO maps, like the reason they look so good is because they're mostly props. And like you could do Blender and Hammer for that. Valve wanted to do Hammer and Hammer 2, but
I think brush-based level editing is really, really good, and I think it'd be kind of foolish for us to try and move away from it anyway. It just
Oh no.
It just works really well. And oh, you can't get through this.
It might be possible. It's just very precise.
Yeah. But no, brush-based level editing works really well, and you can iterate really quickly with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
every major engine that I know,
Oh no.
Unreal, Unity, Godot, they all have like plugins that let you use Radiant or Trench Room or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people love doing that because when you're making a game that doesn't need AAA graphics, a lot of times you can, with a lot less effort and a lot less knowledge, you can just really quickly make levels in something like Trench Room.
It does seem like Hammer 2 lets you do some of that quite rapidly as well, from the limited amounts
Yeah.
I've seen. So I imagine that Valve might have had some quite similar conversations to us like a decade ago and be like, how do we do a hybrid model of the good stuff about Hammer or Trench Room or Radiant,
Right.
plus like actual 3D modeling stuff? However, we're not on that engine, so who cares? But yeah.
Yeah.
It does. What you're saying to me just cries out for like, yes, you should have a hybrid system, right? Because
I don't know if this is possible. Your accelerator's too low.
the Gamecast did it. So.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's beating you your own creation. Oh wait, didn't he?
No, Gamecast is further back.
I'm sorry. I've not played this map in a while.
Well, game.
I
Tom
thought he
could
was
tell
ahead
the
of me
future
about
though.
it.
Oh man, yeah, you need like more speed for that.
Well, if I have more speed, then I can't turn as sharp.
That's true.
It's like a trade-off.
Nick can't see your timer anyway, so you can flip who cares.
Yeah.
I mean, we all start at the same time. We don't have zone set up.
Yeah.
Video encoder doesn't like this texture. Thanks
Oh,
God. I
this is
thought
like-
my stream
this is-
was lagging. I was like,
Yeah.
how?
No, it's
No,
just
this is
fast
like-
paced grid.
I might skip this because this is kind of tough with the 10 air accelerate from Half-Life
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
To
No, if
answer the question directly,
HX264 had a soul, this would be like a form of torture. This map.
Oh, is that
To
Lumi?
answer the question directly, though, I don't think we're ever going to ship a level editor not based on Hammer. Anything that we would
Yeah.
want to do would be better, even if we did want to, totally overhaul and make something new. It's probably better to just do that based on Hammer than to try and make something from scratch because you'd
Improve
have
Hammer?
to create. Huh?
Sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm being terrible at it today. I'm sorry.
But no, I mean Hammer. Yeah, a lot of the code is kind of gross, but like it's already there. So there's unless you were to start from some other pre-existing base, but like a lot of people, for example, in the Trench Room community have asked before, like, oh, will we ever get source engine support? And the answer is pretty much always no, because that would be a nightmare of work. We could do it because we have source engine access, but
A finite number
realistically,
of
that's what you
licenses.
need. And we couldn't do it with Trench Room anyway because Trench Room's GPL'd.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna set my air accelerate to 100 just for this one section because otherwise it's like nearly impossible.
But I think realistically, like the future of good tooling for Source should be improve Hammer a bit and then do good Blender tooling.
Yeah.
And Bongiorno's done a bunch of that. Who's a team member of ours? Bongiorno's great. Like doing source ops. And like that just makes sense, right? It's like trying to a lot of the sources formats are quite open or like well understood. Like textures really are bad.
All right, back to 10.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's,
I mean, the goal would be to be fully open source. It would be really
we would
cool.
love to open source Hammer. Like,
Yeah.
Valve. Probably there's lots of people at Valve who would like to open source stuff.
Yeah.
That wouldn't mind some of the stuff being. The issue is, I think, with stuff like Valve is, if it involves like more than like 2 Valve employees in an email chain, like it will probably not get anywhere. Like it's just too. For them as a company and just how they act, like it's just too much to ask that like that kind of level of like focus on one thing like this. I think if there's not like something really driving them to do that, either they really want to do it or a legal thing. So I don't know. Like I just think it's probably a bit hopeless.
Momentum needs to get big enough that we can go to GDC or something and talk to Valve people in person.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is like, I mean, for one, like Valve get a lot of stupid emails. Maybe we're one of them, one of the stupid emailers. We don't use them that often, but like it would be amazing to be able to open source lots of stuff on Source Engine. I think especially with Strata because we try to set a really high standard of just how we interact with one another and of being a non-toxic weirdo modding community. Sorry to all the toxic weirdo modding communities, but yeah.
Just wait until my Half-Life 2 beta mod releases.
Exactly, yeah. We'd like to set a good precedent there, and maybe with some of the tooling stuff, maybe Valve sometime would let us do it. But at the same time, my harshest criticism was always that like not that many game devs are using Source nowadays, so who cares that much?
I don't even recommend it to anyone. I'd say Godot is your better option.
Most people making a game nowadays aren't using Source 1, and if you are using Source 1, frankly, to a lot of people, that's going to make you seem like you're a bit unserious. We say that as people making a game on Source 1, but I think we're quite willing to, at least I am, be open about the limitations of that. And like Source 1 it's just a really old engine and it's closed source, and Valve they're not terrible to work with, but their level of communication is just low. There's not me.
You don't get any support.
Slagging off Valve, but it's just a fact of it, and it's something you live with, right?
Yeah, you really don't get any support developing it, which is the biggest thing. If you're trying to make a game, you got to understand how the engine like works and everything. For us, our game has to be unsourced. Like it's inherently like a source love letter, right? Source movement love letter. So it just makes sense, and it's a great engine. And like the people that we have been able to talk to at Valve have been extremely polite and wonderful people. But it's just so rare. It's just so rare, and it's like I feel like we got extremely lucky with getting the engine license and getting like just being, the team that we are, and it's awesome that we will deliver this game, and basically like it's such a good like Source 1 like send off in my opinion for me, because it's like everything I really love about Source 1 boiled into one game. So yeah, like I wouldn't recommend people trying to get Source 1. I would love to open source Strata and maintain it. Oh, nice. On the snow.
The problem is, if you're maintaining like a custom engine build, you're mostly maintaining it for people that are doing custom Source 1 stuff. And not, sorry to be really mean to Source 1 people, but like, again, most games shouldn't be made on Source 1. Like, if you're doing a modern game, generally you shouldn't be using Source 1 as an engine.
Yeah.
So
plenty of better options.
There's really only two niches that Source 1 is still good at. The first one is making Source 1 mods, like if you're making a Portal game.
Yeah.
The second one is if you're making multiplayer first-person shooters, but nobody makes those unless they're big-name AAA companies. They've got their own technology. So,
right.
Really, the only thing Source 1 is good for is making like Source 1 fan games, more or less.
Yeah. Which is not the kind of audience that you want to like. It's even the crowd of developers that you want to cater to that much. I don't know. Like this is not us being particularly anti-source people, because there are loads of people in the source community that are great. But it is just I think if you're making games nowadays, especially multiplayer games, and you want them to be popular, like you do need to really have a hearty fucking dose of pragmatism, like, and be ready to like be like, is this game like? The number of times I've been like, is Momentum just a waste of time that's never gonna release or whatever? And I don't think that, and I keep going on with it. But like, you really have to with like, sort of indie game development or like freelance unpaid game development and stuff. Like, it's like you've got to be like harsh with that stuff. And I just think like source tooling and stuff, there's only so much that's worth doing at this point, given how like there just aren't that many people using source these days. And I say as I'm making Lumper, which is like a whole source tooling thing. That's because I'm a obsessive perfectionist. So maybe I'm just like everyone else, I guess.
No, it is very specific niches. I'll just leave it at that. So, but we can move on from this question to the next couple ones.
Panzer, can you hop while holding duck?
If I do, I just lose all air control. I won't be able to do these turns. I'll do it after I'm on the section, I guess.
I just wanted to add, just in terms of
All right, I'm gonna crouch here.
We were saying how we're gonna have
all my
H1 Bhop like different forms of climb and stuff with momentum in the future.
Oh, that doesn't work.
I just wanted to quickly re-summarize how the game mode situation works. Because we've not been super clear about it. We will more at O10, but so a map like this, we would probably give a ranked, maybe unranked, maybe ranked leaderboard in this specific mode. So maps can have leaderboards in multiple game modes in the future, right? So, you can, and it's during map review that people can say like how they think that map plays in a certain mode, and if they think it should be ranked or unranked in that mode. Where unranked means it still has a leaderboard, but it doesn't give you points towards that like overall game mode points. So like you're not considered better at Surf by the point system if you play a map in like Bhop, right? Or sorry, if you play an unranked map in Surf. So with something like this, maybe this would be ranked or unranked, but we could also have maps, right, that are only for 1.6 Bhop that like aren't even playable in other modes, or like aren't ranked in other modes but are ranked in that mode, that kind of thing. So like we have a lot of flexibility with the new system to support maps like this, probably in this mode. But if the run really isn't that good because the turns are too tight or whatever, it would probably just be unranked, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's quite a kind of clean system that means that like people will be able to play this and have a leaderboard in momentum for this, but like it won't be that serious a thing. So I just wanted to point it out, like as I watch like Panzer and Game Chaos really like struggle to do these like tight turns and it looks a bit shit. Because Bhop and like 1.6 Bhop, they'll be part of the same like game mode category or game mode and different sub modes or whatever. I think game mode category is probably a better term. We should talk about the terminology more of a lot of this stuff actually at some point.
Yeah, we'll clean it up.
Yeah, but yeah, just to be clear, like with the new system, we have a lot of flexibility with what we rank in these different things. Sorry, completely off topic from all the Q&A, but I wanted to just.
No, it's fair.
Okay. The next question is from miswift. Is tool-assisted speedrun being processed right now, or is there any about it?
Not currently, no. O10.0 is our internal system rewriting, but after O10, ideally O11, O12, like any one of those, it just requires a dev to, I believe Batman's task tools were what we're going to implement. So it's just a matter of reaching out to Batman and seeing if they're ready, or if they still want to.
We need a dev that's like really quite active to do that.
Yes, yeah. So it requires
probably won't have that for a while, but we'll see. If a specific dev wants to do it, right, they could. But
yeah. So right now, all the devs are on O10 and related work for O10. But as we start to ship O10 and there's less stuff to work on, that's when tasks will get implemented.
One thing I just wanted to comment on, that Oski, who's one of the lead devs on P2CE, our sort of sister project, was recently doing some stuff on rendering of demos, and getting that super clean and talking about how nice that was to do. So this is a separate thing, but it's kind of been a similar thing. We've been talking about having like an integrated demo viewer. Sorry, not demo viewer, renderer, like video renderer of replays. So with the work Oski's doing, that might be a bit further along, just for free. Oski's not a momentum dev, but that's the kind of benefit we get from Strata is what he's doing there with
teamwork
demos.
of Strata. Yeah.
I
think TF2 style tasks, which I think other modes just call those segmented runs. As soon as we have like save states in the game, those should be possible. I don't think TF2 task tools give you anything more than that. At least they didn't last time I tried them.
Yeah, I mean that could maybe even be a style, right? Because it's just a style of like a segmented style that like every mode would have, right? So if you don't use segments, like you wouldn't be a segmented run, but if you do use segments, you're on just that leaderboard.
Yeah.
I think we did discuss this a while ago and then haven't discussed it much in like months, but yeah, I think that was the idea. But full on task is like, frankly, full on task is the kind of thing you want to have if your engine's open source or part of the game's open source. But
I'm gonna enable 100 air accelerate again because this also feels impossible.
Eating on his own map.
Yeah, on the wrong settings that the map wasn't designed for.
Banned from ever submitting rounds on the.
Actually, I still can't make it with 100 air accelerate. What the hell? Oh, it's because of the max velocity. It's not because of the air accelerate. The max velocity is 2,000 in HL1.
I was going to say earlier, on the topic of edge case, we had a really funny discussion earlier about max velocity. If there should be a max velocity that game modes have, for like, or a zone file can set. And we were saying like we should make it basically infinite, or the size of like a float max.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because like there's some defrag maps that supposedly have like crazy high max val, and like I've done Ahop stuff where you can get a max val that in overflows.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I was thinking like you might be able to make a map out of that. Again, this would be unranked, right? But with the new system, you can do a map that's like purely unranked. Like it's a silly map, but it still has a leaderboard. It just doesn't give you rank points.
Yeah.
I think for some modes, no max val. Like for example, Defrag just doesn't have max val ever, and I think a lot of new surf and bhop maps.
Oh, I did it.
Well, either.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, we're not. To be clear, we're not getting rid of max val.
Right.
What we're talking about is like
it's a property of zones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we were saying maybe the max velocity that a zone could have would be 100,000 or something. But who cares? I mean, just make it.
Yeah, and we're like for modes
anyway.
like Rocket Jump or Conc or whatever, where like it.
You're never going to hit that.
We're not getting rid of. We're not getting rid of the default max val of like 3,500 or whatever. That's
right. Yeah.
I'm really curious actually if we could port DKR long to Momentum.
I mean,
that map is too big for the engine currently, I think.
Yeah, you'd have to slice it up with portals, but even then, I don't know if you can make it fit because that map is 4 billion units across.
Yeah.
That's insane. But any other input for miswift's question here about tasks or anything? All right, cool. Thank you for that question. Soon, just after 010. Cool. All right.
The next question from Mr. System Error. Will there be mechanics from Ricochet? Sorry.
Oh, Ricochet. Yeah.
This question has been asked before, and I didn't go back and look, but I think it might have been asked by the same person. He also asked this on our Steam forums, whether or not we're going to have Ricochet.
That's right. Yeah. Vortex answered that.
Ricochet.
Yeah, Vortex answered. I think I remember that too. Yeah, because Vortex answered him and said, "Ricochet is not a mode. It's just movement, right? Like it's like you have your disc, but there's not PvP. So the only movement you have is no jumping, with map placed, like boosts, right? So." Yeah, I guess there's going to be Ricochet mechanics, but it's not going to be like playing like Ricochet. Maps have a lot of boosts.
If you really wanted to, you could like disable jumping in Half-Life Bhop, and that would be would basically just Ricochet.
Yeah, right? Like that's
then?
Wait, what was that?
You can't Bhop, you're just walking?
Yeah, it's just you can't jump because it's Ricochet. And it's meant to be like you're supposed to use the boosts around the map to like get elevation. Yeah, I don't know. It's really just it's like gold source movement with no jumping. So
wait, was this my first ever message? I think my first ever message in the Momentum server might have been me shitposting Ricochet movement when.
Are you Mr. System Error?
Yeah. All along.
This is your alt. No, but yeah, I wouldn't say no to having like Ricochet themed maps, like a Ricochet themed like climb map or something. Right? Like that would fit, right? 1.6 movement on that be pretty cool. But yeah, when it comes to like an official game mode or something, no, we're not going to have Ricochet game mode because that's PvP. And for those who are unaware, Momentum is a single player first platform. So if a game mode requires another person to play it, we really don't support it. And with that, style of game, we're actually able to do, you know, zero ping, right, gameplay where you're playing on a local server, but if you're in a lobby like this, you're just networking where you are to the other person, and it doesn't really matter if it's synchronized. So
Did they
yeah.
did they maybe mean some of the power-ups? Did any of the power-ups in Ricochet give you movement changes? I don't think they do. I think they're all just attack changes.
I didn't even know there were power-ups.
Yeah, I think I'm probably one of the only people here who's ever played Ricochet with other human beings. I don't
Yeah.
think any of the power-ups like even do anything to movement. I think they're just purely like they make you throw more discs or whatever.
Yeah.
Half-Life Gauss Cannon? Maybe.
The main thing is, just because it's Source 1 doesn't mean it's any good. Like...
Or Gold Source, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Ricochet was, really old, but...
I guess it was really ancient, yeah.
But, yeah.
Should we change the map, because bitrate is just getting destroyed on this?
Yeah, we can, was there another map you wanted to play in these styles of movement? Or should we move over to the public Steam?
Oh, hell yeah.
Can we go back to Steam? I think...
Beat the bonus.
Oh, nice, yeah.
That was insane. 10 air artillery. Wait, what? I have fire. in the defrag railgun. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's our model for the sniper rifle now.
Yes, yep.
All right,
very loud. But yeah, I think we're moving back to the Steam build so we can not crash.
Okay. It'd be nice to play with, like, not 30 FPS. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you put on debug, fucking hell.
Yeah, debug.
Yeah, on debug. Very stuff.
But, yeah, cool. All right, there's your answer, Mr. System Error. Thank you for that question. We'll move on to the next one, which is for Tom.
Lockxta asks, where did the sound come from in the soundboard?
So like, I would like to say that the work I do on Momentum and getting to the point of being department head of like a, you know, web systems lead, doing, you know, rewriting the back and all of that, I would love to say that's completely selfless. But it isn't. Being able to take complete control of Momentum, the Momentum mod Discord soundboards. First off, so I should just say, fuck Discord. Don't buy Discord Nitro. They're shitty. Like, if you're using it as a server, fine, I guess. Got Nitro, but like, I hope our soundboard being amazing doesn't encourage people to get Discord Nitro. However, yeah, being a department head, I get to add sounds. And so, for those who haven't heard, this is the sound in question. Yeah.
Pleasant.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
We've got a few other good ones.
It's not cool, Dave. It's shit.
It's shit.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Is that a car crash outside of the
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like they're adding to the soundboard.
They are, yeah.
As much as I hate Discord, and like the soundboard thing is it's for me.
Yeah. And that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the soundboard, is pretty much Tom's domain. So if you ever see a sound on there, that's Tom. So just that,
What is the source?
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
Oh, the source of the UE sound.
Oh, that's from the Quaalude video with. Wait, I'll find it. It's in Twitch chat. I think I might even have the timestamp in that. Wait.
What are we playing?
Anything. We can play. Did someone actually redeem? Please, actually play Conc.
I don't think so. I'm kind of bored of Conc.
I have 4K points to go, so soon.
Yeah.
Game Chaos and I are playing the new Defrag map.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit! Have we not shown this yet? Oh, I think we didn't show this last Q&A.
DF_map.
The
Oh no.
play it. playtesting map.
It's pretty
Just show
good.
it off real quick.
I think
It
I've
can
shown it off before, but
Okay.
I got the fucking loading screen.
It matches my current.
Very
This was-
true.
After me getting so bored of doing like web dev work and doing map submission stuff that I was like rewriting the map submission stuff, and I had all these like existing files for testing, and like I just got bored.
Wait, do I not have jump buffering? Or is it a specific window? What?
You
Huh?
have to be holding it when you hit the ground.
Oh.
The reason I made this was for end-to-end testing.
Oh, that makes way more sense. Okay, thanks, Lumia.
Yeah, there's no buffering is an incorrect description of it. You literally it's autohop, but you have to let go before you can jump again. That's it.
I just want to say, so the reason this map exists is for end-to-end testing,
Yeah.
which is we have some tests in our files for like uploading specific BSP files. We do a little bit of validation of BSPs to check that they're compressed. BSPs you can kind of it's complicated. It's not like compressing the entire thing, but you kind of compress subparts of it. And we have some code for testing that because it's something we really want to enforce. It saves us on disk space and stuff. I needed just a random small BSP file that was a valid BSP, right? So it would pass these tests, but like a version that wasn't compressed. So that's the reason I made this map and compiled it. I just wanted a random tiny BSP. But then one day I went a bit insane and uploaded it.
I like the B.
That is a lazy ass B.
No arch tool. Could have carved it into the brush.
I think you mean no. Tool.
When KZ? Soon, actually. We were showing off the CS 1.6 movement.
Oh.
So that was Panzer's gameplay. Was in 1.6 movement.
3 KV modes coming for a 10.
Yep. Wait, all 3? Or I think it's just going to be 1.6
maybe
and
not KZP. I think KZ. No, I think we've got the SKZ thing, and maybe we need to get fucking Game Chaos some voice. He can just correct us.
Yeah.
It's maybe it's just it's 3. Yeah. So.
We have 3 planned. It's just I didn't know.
So 010 Momentum 010 I think has 5 new game modes. We currently have like 7 active modes.
Yeah.
010 I think has 5 because it's got all 3 climb modes, 1.6 Bhop and VQ3 Defrag.
Yeah.
So Defrag splits up. Currently it's just CPM, but we call it Defrag, but it will split up to CPM and VQ3. Again, 010's been taking a long time, but this is part of the reason why is that like making all this make sense has been really hard. And so it's not just that we have to support VQ3, it's that we have to like support VQ3 in a way that makes sense for every mode. And that's what we spent so much time doing. So we've got VQ3 and CPM differ in the same way that the different climb modes differ, which is basically they're just the same, they're just all different modes, but the UI is like grouped a bit.
My Discord crashed. Were we talking about VQ3?
Oh, we were just talking about like the different
KZ. Yeah. Different KZ modes, yeah. Oh yeah, the doors are not networked. That is something I think we are looking into improving.
Yeah, I think. Oh no. Okay, Tesla.
Shall we move to the other question?
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one here.
Okay. Yeah, otherwise I'll stop playing more soundboard sound.
Okay, disres asks, with global autohop still being in serve, when will the final rule / handling of bhop in serve be discussed, or is it already finalized? If so, what is it?
So I don't know if disres was here for the like start for the zone showcase that I was doing. But yeah, the idea is that there is no pre-hopping, I think. The zone will just cap your bunny hop like speed.
Well, I don't think this is purely in terms of pre-hopping, but in
in the
auto-hop and stuff.
Oh, sorry, like bunny hopping on like splines
when
and
you
stuff.
can just bhop on spines.
Yeah.
Well, spines, not splines, but yeah. Did you say spines?
Gotcha.
Or spines?
I think I said spines, ramp spines and stuff. Or maybe
Oh,
splines.
sorry. I thought you said splines.
I might have said
Why do you have
splines actually.
auto hop in surf anyway?
So this would be a good question for Rio, but also I think this is actually something where, frankly, we haven't been discussing like core surf stuff that much. Partly,
Yeah.
not that many surf people are active in our Discord, like because we do try to reach out to surf people quite a bit. I've yelled at you before. Disres like dug bug report and stuff to us. You've been really good, but like a lot of surf people don't that much. So if people do want to discuss if we should be potentially not having autohop in surf or not allowing you to bunny hop on spines, which we potentially could do, I think we were talking about a while ago.
Yeah.
Like that is absolutely something to discuss and bring up. It's just we do potentially need people to discuss and bring it up because it's just I don't know.
My understanding is that the way it works on most servers is that auto hop's disabled unless there's like a zone that turns it on or something.
I thought most surf servers did allow it, though I'm losing track. Now maybe KSF does have it as a Look, I think the main thing is for us as developers, like I find with some issues with like game mode specific mechanics and things, sometimes I'll try to like sort of champion kind of community discussion just to kind of encourage people. I've done that really badly before with plus strafe, but let's not talk about that. Like it is quite a bit of work for us just to kind of like get that discussion going. And
Yeah.
we definitely have a lot of like active surf people in our Discord, but it's just a thing of like if you need a team member you think should be kind of like really nagging people to get this discussion going, either give us a shout, talk in our Discord, you can DM me, whatever, and we could try to discuss it more, or just try to bring it up more in our Discords. Just because this is something that is very subjective and is probably going to benefit a lot from a lot of. Maybe you can get a too many spoiler brush thing, but like you probably do benefit a lot from having a lot of people that can. I'm waving my arms around like crazy. I'm like that Mission Weblet sketch.
I think Surf has auto hop, by the way, because it was just the case of the cases where it wasn't desired was more rare than like
Yeah,
right than
But
like
I
just
think-
leaving it on and like
But I think in like modern like competitive surf, where sometimes there really are like fine bhops and stuff that like
yeah.
What I would say, Disres, if you wanna make a post on the Discord and stuff, and like honestly like ping General Surf or whatever, or get one of us to, and
Yeah.
like get if you want to get team members to like champion us bringing that up, let's do that. It's not necessarily the case that like we ourselves have that much energy just to do just that stuff. It really depends on different people, but how much? I don't know if I did it. I'm just like I'm tired and stressed today. Okay, I've been doing things and just anyway, that makes it sound really ominous. I'm just tired and I'm just depressed and yeah.
So the answer is no, it hasn't been finalized, clearly. Yes, absolutely create a feedback post, and let's get a discussion rolling on that. I mean, I guess, yeah, it's true. You don't really do a lot of jumping in surf, but when it comes to when you do need a bunny hop, it would suck if auto hop wasn't there for you, to where you would otherwise now need to time a jump. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like where it's like, oh, this like is otherwise a menial thing to worry about. I don't know. Yeah, I think that if it's more beneficial to turn off auto hop, we can just do that. That's okay. But we need a discussion
it does
first.
need discussion. Yeah.
And it's not going to be something we're just going to hand wave a decision on. Cat's in the way.
Oh wait, where's the cat? I don't see the cat.
No, Game Chaos's cat in the way.
Oh,
no, yeah.
I've been kind of trying to
is-
spy on Nick, hoping that the cat pops back up.
Yeah. No, he
But-
is. Walter is currently just sleeping in my girlfriend's chair over there. So
I
Has
think
anyone
that
actually made a proposal as to how we would make spines unhoppable? Because off the top of my head, I can't think of how we would do that. But maybe someone has an idea.
I think Rio discussed it at one point to do with like just collision detection stuff of some kind of like you could. I mean, in some way geometrically you're going to be on one side or the other, so you could maybe sort of artificially put you on one. That sounds like it would be jank, but I don't know.
yeah.
The thing I guess I would, if people want to bring this up in Discord and try to make a big discussion, that sounds great. the thing I would say is try to make your points really clear, just to make the discussion constructive. We don't want, another Jabra thing, obviously, or like, I don't know.
Please don't post like political alignment charts about autohop.
But we do have this less with
Forgot
Surf and
about
some
that.
other modes, and we're very happy to have that with other modes. And if we need to, team members and people can try to kind of facilitate good discussion or whatever. But it is a lot of these kind of discussions can get really tough, and it ends up being these kind of somewhat kind of flame war things. But also flame wars, but they're not on forums, so everyone is posting a million times a second, and I want to die. I don't know.
There is a way to detect whether or not you're standing on a spine. I'm sure you just do 2 traces on each like corner of your, or 4, I guess, and just see if like one side is like normals is right. Like there's ways to detect if you're also pinched in a V doing the same thing, which I think we did for one of our early surf ramp bug fixes. Yeah, it's just a matter of like detecting if you're on a spine and just not allowing jump. Like we could do that if that would like satisfy everyone's concern. That's doable. So
the main thing is
yeah,
these kind of decisions are just hard to make and like without
discussion
off a bunch of people, and we do need to have the discussion.
Yeah.
And if you want to get surfers from KSF Discord or whatever to come to the Momentum one and chat about it, absolutely do. But please do try to be constructive in the discussion and not turn it into kind of like, oh, what rank are you? Like, shut up. You're not like so and so rank or whatever. Like, try to judge it on the merits of what people are arguing, and if people are just saying dumb stuff, like, yeah, I think it should be based on star sign. Like, yeah, but I don't know. I slightly dread, like, just because we've had a lot of this with jump, that stuff at like triple pre's and shit. But
yeah,
but we really should be ready to discuss all this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I added Surf Eternal to the team chat. You want to show that off? It's not officially added to the game, but I did port it a while ago.
Is this whose is this? Is this a you thing or?
It's the map in my background.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that like some combat surf map or?
No, that's a skill surf.
Okay.
Let me get that in here. Oh wait, it's no longer the. It's the other.
Yeah.
One. All right.
Can we move on the other question?
Yes. Yeah. So we will have a discussion about this. Yeah, if we can just detect splines, and that's I'd say again splines. Yeah, just the spine of the ramp, and prevent bunny hopping. If that's the majority like problem with it, then we could look into doing that. It's not a problem. But yeah, so
it sounds like there are other cases we need to take into account as well. But
yeah,
for sure.
That can probably be part of it. And I think we should also consider, because I mean, if the objective is to make it so that you can't b-hop, then we're not going to turn it into scroll hop, because then you can still b-hop. Right. It's just RNG. We would need to do something like speed limiting, which we can do, because we can do whatever we want.
And especially when you get very few cases of RNG, like RNG cases like in KCT, those average out, right? Because you just get if like everything's on, if it's random, like you'll tend to get, if you have like literally hitting the spline once is like whether you get a good run on this map. That is horrible, right? Because you end up like actually having like runs that are genuinely RNG as to whether you get a good run.
Yeah.
Remember, Momentum, none of this stuff is finalized until 1.0. Like, it's only at 1.0 that leaderboards are final. Yeah. So, if people want to, like, bring this up, again, it's like, if people can, the best thing to do for, like, getting change on this, I would say, is to discuss it a lot in the general channel, or the general surf channel or whatever, but try to be a kind of, like, good arbiter of the discussions as well a bit. Like, try to sort of listen to other people's views. And just like, if people are being like really dumb about stuff, then ignore them or ask mods or whatever. Like, just trying to keep these discussions like in a way where like people are kind of on the same track and like actually not just completely talking against one another about things that no one's on the same terms. Like, I don't know. But again, we can keep going through all this constantly.
It's a cool map.
Discuss this lots for 1.0 if we need to. This is a like low tier 3, right? I've not played it.
Something like that. I'm not sure if it's a 3 or 4. fucked up.
Still recoverable, maybe?
This is a map that
Oh.
you really want to save lock. Save locking this, like, just because there's all these like specific. What am I talking? I'm terrible.
This map does have like a checkpoint in the middle, but the two segments are pretty long.
Do we want to move on to our next question?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Roady asks, has there been any progress on drag and drop HUD elements, and if is it expected to come pre 1.0?
I would love it pre 1.0.
Yeah.
The main thing for drag and drop, it is actually like if someone wants to learn this stuff and work on it, Mac has been getting interested in it and been doing a bit of it. I was streaming this a few weeks back. With me and Mac just like doing some dev stuff together. If people want to learn Panorama, and this is like kind of like the ultimate Panorama thing because it's pure JavaScript and it's like it's really neat and it's really clean. And it's very mathy. A lot of it is like just snapping panels to grids and things and getting like styling of certain panels right. Like if no one else works on this, I probably won't do it before 1.0 just because there's so many other things I could work on before 1.0. I'm afraid just because I've just got so much stuff on my plate and like it is quite low priority. That being said, if I can explain this stuff to other people and like pass this on to other people, I'm very, very keen to do that because I love this project and I think it would be amazing to have. It's also extremely fun to work on. It's quite intellectually challenging because it's quite massively. I say that as an idiot, right? To some people, it's probably quite easy, but like it's it's just a lot of linear interpolation and stuff just to get this kind of nice grid snapping and stuff working with the way Panorama works and stuff. And it's like it's really like if your math is like okay and you just want to spend a lot of time on this and your JavaScript is okay, like anyone could pick this up and work on this. There's a little bit of game code needed that we don't have on Steam branch yet, but literally I could add that whenever. Like we could just PR that in because it's just a couple of like APIs we expose that like we could do whenever. So if people want to work on it, they can. I can't work on it because if I could work on anything on Momentum right now just for fun, I'd probably be doing drag and drop HUD because it's really fun to write and because it's something genuinely beneficial to players, right? And it's a really cool feature, and I love the way Diabolical does it. The thing is, I just don't have time for that. I have other shit to do. Like, as much as it pains me, I'm gonna spend time writing backend end-to-end tests for our backend that like the whole game depends on, rather than doing this game HUD stuff. I don't want to do the fucking end-to-end tests. I hate end-to-end tests. Like I've got to like it's. Those do need doing, in my opinion, to get Momentum to like a point of releasability because that stuff is really fragile and we've had to rewrite the whole thing.
Oh no!
So I was impressed by that run, Panzer. Like you were.
Yeah, I messed up at the end.
So if anyone wants to work on it, I'm happy to go through this in voice and chat about it there, especially for people that already know JS well, because like I feel like JavaScript people, we spend so much time getting annoyed by the language and like specific things or whatever that like if you're familiar with a lot of core JS ideas, like I can teach you Pano really fucking quick, like really quick. And so I would love to just hand this off to someone else, like exeloar. If you want to do it, that'd be great. But seriously, like this is stuff like. I'm really rambling about this, but like a lot of the Momentum work, the first program work I started really doing on Momentum was after we got licensed, and I started doing loads of our Pano stuff because I enjoyed it so much, and it was a chance for me to get back into JavaScript, and that's now kind of my primary language, and I'm for my sins a JavaScript programmer at the moment, or I write about 50% JavaScript of all the different language stuff I do, and I'm very used to Node and all the kind of ecosystem and all that. I really want to work on this stuff. I'm really sad to see this stuff kind of fester and not get any progress on. It's just that there's just so much other stuff on Momentum that I've since like learned how to do that like it just wouldn't be responsible for me to do it. I honestly think this is like such a cool feature that like HUD is so important to Momentum and we can get it looking so clean and so good that like it's so appealing as a project. So I would love to just sit down in Discord voice, screen share for a while, just go through what I've got, explain through it, and just code review someone who works for it, mentor them a bit if I need to. But you know, it might be someone might come along that wants to just knows all the stuff already, like, or knows like if you know basic JS stuff, like the Plano stuff, I can teach you so quick. Like it's not hard.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
With that rundown, I'll stop rambling. But please, someone work on fucking Dragon Ball. It's like
Perfect timing. The cops are coming.
Sorry.
Now.
Yeah. Walt is under arrest.
That's pretty good. But yeah, so that is the beauty of open sourcing Pano code, right? Like anyone can work on this. It would just need to be documented of what needs to be done, and yeah, the branch, right, the needs to probably be rebased.
Is that I'm not gonna write a whole big doc because it takes me hours to like explain everything that I've got so far. I'd much rather do that. Someone needs to reach out to me and I'll go through it with them, right? Like, I could do some stuff for it, but like it's just the mental energy of sitting down and writing up the whole thing that I've currently got. I mean, I could do, but I don't want to do that until I know someone actually wants to work on it.
Yeah.
So the main thing is, if you do want to work on it and you know what you're doing, give me a shout. Or if you don't know what you're doing, give me a shout and I'll teach you, like I'm doing with Mac. So.
All right, I want to take a break. I guess you guys can play
Yeah.
a different map or spectate somebody else.
For sure. Yeah.
Happy, do you want to play something? I can't be honest.
I'm bad at everything, so
I'm bad at Surf. I'll give this map a couple shots, but I can't promise anything.
I'm pretty sure this is a tier 4.
Oh, okay. Then I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, it's not the easiest. It's tricky.
Yeah, it looked pretty precise in some parts too. I can do the starting part.
Could I just comment on the open source thing?
Yeah.
If people watching this are interested in doing open source momentum work or becoming more invested in programming stuff, I was reading some article the other day of someone saying how like open source is kind of a joke, of like how the idea that like you should learn programming by contributing open source is a bad idea. And to some extent I think that's true, because a lot of the time people that they said, oh, do Hacktoberfest, and they do like Hacktoberfest and like learn nothing, and they just like get on someone's nerves, right, by like contributing bad PRs and not really knowing what they're doing. If you want to get involved with momentum and you genuinely care about this stuff, and you're ready to like get given some reading material and put in some time learning this, and you want to get a bit of a kind of computer science, programming, software engineering education, we can do that a bit. And like I really do like doing that with people and have enjoyed doing that recently. Like, do give us a shout, and like that is a way you can get into contributing to this stuff, even if you're not a programmer right now, is getting involved with some of the open source parts. But like, if you want to get involved with the open source parts, that doesn't mean you have to pick some random PR, not tell anyone anything, and just try work away at it and like be completely silent about the whole thing. No,
Right.
come in our Discord, talk to us, say what you're interested in working on, and like myself and other people are happy to put some time into like actually giving you areas that we think you could contribute to, or we'll give you some reading material and give you some stuff to learn first, right? But like that's a good way to like get some. I don't know. I'm rambling, but
No, it's a good point. Yeah, the open source side of momentum is always meant to be a kind of like learning and seeing how, like, because that's why it's open source, right? Because otherwise, like, what, right? Like, if you could look at like contributor numbers and be like, well, why did I even bother open sourcing it? Like, all these people aren't here, or like these people disappear, or whatever. But like, in the end of the day, it's like it's this shared project that you get experience on. That like if you know you can stick with it. Oh shit. You really like can apply this to jobs. Like I try, and I've learned from my now 2 jobs that I've in the industry, right? Like that I've applied towards this team of like you get experiences of like, you know, what it's like to do like code review and stuff, or like, you know, that's what I was like trying to like get everybody like into doing. Before I realized that that's kind of dumb of me to ask like random people to, oh yeah, allocate like 2 hours of your time to look at everyone else's code.
Right.
But it's set up to be like, if you do want to work in software, it's such a good project to get on your resume, and also just like to contribute towards, especially because we really all have the same goal here of wanting this game to come out, right? Like that's why we all work on it.
But that's the most important thing, and software engineering is a naturally collaborative process.
Yes.
There's some stuff that is just made by like one random person. I don't know, maybe WinRAR, but like most of it is made by like groups of people, and being able to work with other people is a really fundamental skill. So if you can work on an open source project where you're actually both working collaboratively with other people and getting good at doing that in itself, as well as learning lots of specific skills about the area that you're working in, like that's really, really valuable. And so I think Momentum, like, whilst a lot of open source stuff, like, don't contribute to some random, you know, GitHub repo for like Hacktoberfest or whatever, but like, if you can find projects like Momentum should be where you have like devs who are willing to spend some time like helping teach people if necessary, if that person seems genuinely keen on the project, and like if we're like mutually sort of if we all want to get Momentum out sooner, and you want to learn some stuff about like programming, and me as someone who wants to get Momentum out sooner and benefits from having more programmers, I'm very happy teaching you more programming stuff if you're going to be working on Momentum stuff more, right? And so, like, and also I really enjoy teaching, and I think a lot of people do that. Teaching is a really good way to increase your own understanding of the topic you're talking about. It's actually the best way to do that, I think. I can talk about that for hours. Like you say linguistically, like, I wish I could code. Like, loads of people wish they could code. Coding's, like, not hard. Like, it really isn't.
It really
isn't.
It's
actually remarkably easy in loads of ways. A lot of the time, what is needed is people that will teach you, introduce you to programming in a way that, like, makes sense to you, that clicks. And that's basically what teaching is, right? And so, with something like Momentum, if you're confused by some specific thing, it's so common when you're learning programming. Like, there'll be some specific thing that you just don't get, and you look on, like, Stack Overflow or whatever, and you just don't get it. And usually it's a kind of categorical sort of misunderstanding you've had. Nothing stupid about that or wrong with that. Everyone does that a bit. Like, but that's the kind of thing where you really want someone who can then just explain it to you. And with a project like Momentum, you'll get devs. We can explain that stuff to you, right? Like, if you can like be like, okay, I just don't understand how JavaScript functions actually work. What the fuck is an object? Like, one of us, I will sit down and explain that to someone, right? To some extent, I don't know what the fucking object is, but I kind of do. Like, if you can have, if you're willing to give stuff Momentum and want to work on it, like, we're very willing ourselves to, like, put the time into teaching you, and we gain stuff from that because teaching is a really good learning experience. Like I said, like, so I love teaching stuff. I like teaching Mac JavaScript because I get to learn JavaScript by doing that, because I'm like, oh wait, actually I don't really understand what execution context is or whatever, and that's good for me. Yeah, it's like AI, but not a complete load of dog shit.
Yeah, it's it really is. It really is an excellent project to join because, yeah, you also help us get the game out, or features that are highly, sought after, while we just are working on more core, boring ones.
Yeah, but also you can get into the whole system through doing that, becoming a big contributor maybe. But the most important thing, I think, is that, like, we can treat each other as people, as opposed to you signing up for some code site and, like, they're trying to get money out of you, and they've already made a thing, and they're trying to sell it to you. If you start doing stuff through Momentum, we're going to get in a voice call or talk over text chat, whatever, and actually treat each other as human beings. And, like, that's really nice, and I like doing that. I'm a graphic designer, so any way I can contribute to the project. Not that much right now. Traz is the main person to reach out to. If you do a lot of vector graphics, give a shout in the art channel, because we could do with a lot more vector stuff.
Yeah.
But this is quite a long thing to talk about, so I'm not going to go into right now. But give us a shout in the Discord if you want to.
Is this a new map?
Yeah, this is Max RJ Tartarus, which is, if anyone's played Hades, kind of familiar designs on the ground here. No.
I think we have a question about contribution bit late after that, we can kind of rumble in there, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go to the next one.
So Roady asks, what maps are going to be pre-approved for 0.10 release, such that there are maps outside of their playtesting week on release?
Tons of defrag maps. I mean, we've just got so many defrag maps. We're gonna be
Yeah.
adding, like basically everything on World Spawn. Lots of Conc maps as well. A couple thousand of those. That's pretty much it, though. The other game modes are gonna be empty.
Yeah, they need a lot more review than those.
Yeah, just because we can auto port those ones. So the ones already on source, we don't really care about.
Realistically, the maps that are on the map selector will likely get a couple passes. I mean, obviously, it'd be good to just go through the list of maps that we currently have because they're kind of like already ported or something. Some of which are already
There's so many issues.
Yeah, some of which have tons of issues. Some of which were ported a while ago when the entity names were different. What am I doing wrong, by the way? Am I supposed to not uncrouch or something?
This is quite hard.
Yeah.
Your lineup's just not that great.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm going to be reporting Bhop Arcane with some fixes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if people that are good at Bhop stuff and get into the porting and follow the guides or help write the guides, please help us write the guides. Those will be the ones that get in first. Like, I don't think we have like a set list. But one, like, if O10 has fewer maps than like pre-O10 at the very start, like, I'm not that upset. Like, because if people want more maps, they can submit more maps. Like, it is genuinely a thing of like, the momentum team aren't going to be the people submitting every map, right? Like, we are expecting other people to do it, and if other people aren't doing it, we won't have that many maps like pre-O10. Like, because... Play a second?
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I don't know that much more to say. I just want to like, basically say that like, if you want specific maps added, you'll be able to add those.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think this is something we need to worry about too much because we're going to have both O10.0 and O9 whatever, like at the same time for a bit. We're going to have it as a separate branch on Steam.
We'll have a pre-release out with a whole backend deploy going, so people can.
So whatever maps you want to see by the time we fully release, submit them.
Yeah.
You decide if you want to see maps by O10.0 release, submit them when we have the beta branch out because we're going to have that out before the full release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's nice because like we get to return to some of the maps that have been like added and see if there's improvements that we could do via Lumper, via like all the new tooling that we have, new entities that we have. Mappers can revisit some of their maps that have been, now that they've seen maybe how world record routes have went and stuff, and they can make changes because it's a fresh slate, like, right? Like, we're not just porting over the maps that we have to wipe everything. So it's really just a matter of like whatever maps the community is wanting, right? Dang, this is really fun. This is a fun first jump. I'm getting the hang of it.
It's a fun
jump. But
I really like this realistic like blood water.
The river of blood. Love
it looks like blood.
Looks like juice.
Yeah,
it looks like
juice.
Very punch. We'll get an ocean shader eventually. One of these cracked Strata devs will be like, here's the best ocean shader.
We've not spoken about that. We do. Smade is working on something at the moment that is.
Yes.
If we get it, is fucking cool as hell.
Yes. So just
performance too much.
Yeah. If I could talk a little bit about that, but let's get through the rest of the questions and then we'll talk about like in development stuff at Strata incorporate. But thank you, Roady. Yeah, there will be maps that by the time we actually hit O10, they're solid. We just don't know that list exactly right now, but it'll get more and more finalized by O10. We will have maps at O10, by the way. We're not going to rely on just everything to be resubmitted for O10. So We'll be good, and it'll be every game mode. Lumia was being a little facetious. It'll be every game mode. So,
Well,
Just gotta
I'm not
maybe
sure
we
how
can
many
ask
more.
about the important game modes. So
yeah, that's true. yeah,
figure out
No,
his
I'm not
question
sure quite how
first.
many we'll have for 010 that we will hope that Roady, you'd be someone that I would hope you would be submitting some bhop maps for us. You're like a bhop guy, right? So, I'd hope you do that. Because otherwise, I have to do it. or someone.
We'll move on
I don't
because
wanna
this
do it.
actually was touching on the giant contribution discussion we were just having. Damn.
Oh, okay.
The next question from Glyph. What can people contribute with at this point in time in the future? What are the things that our non-programmer or programmer can help with? Can I kind of take it for
Yeah.
a second?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so as non-program person myself, if you make music, if you know languages, or like if you want to translate the game to your mother language, I guess hit me up. That's pretty much, I always trying, I mean, I have work, but I'm always trying to, talk with people about that, especially translations, since I'm a localization lead. Music, we don't really need that music that much, but you can send me some maybe stuff, not necessarily music, the sound effects, anything, and I'm gonna keep it in touch. So hey, there's a person if I need it. Maybe probably to the closer to the 1 point release, we're probably gonna do some, well, not marketing, but running the social media.
I think we'll
some-
keep them internal, probably.
Yeah.
We'll just have Traz on TikTok duty.
Yeah, but still, maybe there's some people who know Photoshop, or they can just prepare, for example, Instagram page. I know there's a postponed.
Yeah, maybe a bit. Yeah. The main thing there is getting people that actually give a shit about the project. So if people do, then that might well be a good avenue. I guess so much social media stuff is just so utterly vapid that I would just want Traz to do it.
If you know Turkish, we have a PO editor. It's in general localization general channel. It's pinned.
Turkish is mostly complete at the moment, right?
I think Turkish isn't actually. I think I need to actually check the PO editor. I haven't done it for so long. Yeah, so there's a pin. Go there, see, translate. Maybe fix. Okay, Turkish is completed. Okay, never mind. But still, you can go there, see maybe there's some mistakes, how we can fix it, stuff like that. So yeah, just keep in mind that those kind of I guess from my point of view, the main development is code related, right? So there is not a lot of job to do for the small jobs like the translations, because translations are dependent on the UI, right? And it depends on Tom, and Tom do a lot of things. It's a pin comment in the general localization channel, PO editor, yeah. So just keep in mind that most of that will need help in the future. So yeah, I guess that's all for me. There really no.
Yeah, no, I mean you covered a lot of the bases there of a non-programmer, right? Because it's other than sharing word of the project, right? Getting people involved who could help as well, right? Programmatically or not, right? That's the most valuable, I'd say, thing that you can really do is just share word of the game to people that would want to try it out. Bring them to the Discord, right? Have them hang out. Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff in development right now, but it's eventually getting to the point where it will be available to everyone for free, right? So just having people that can help get the word out is really valuable.
I just want to say that there's some kind of odd job as we get a momentum that I think you kind of do need to be just kind of really in touch with us to kind of for us to
Yeah.
even like think to give you those jobs.
Yeah.
That so, and sometimes we get that with for instance, making GitHub issues. Like we tend to do that a bit less these days because quite a lot of our current issues are just tracked, frankly, and we just do need programmers to work on it. And like Nick kind of said, like programmers really are our like main thing that we need right now.
Yeah.
But if you are like, you know, just good at writing,
No.
like
So,
you've basically got it. Yeah.
yeah.
If you're like, or like you're just, I don't know, smart. There's sometimes stuff that like is, I don't know. It's like when I started getting involved with Momentum, and this was basically after uni I took a break when I was really just not thinking about programming stuff at all. I didn't do programming at uni, but I did some stuff as a kind of, you know, extracurricular stuff, and I didn't want to keep doing it for a while. And I sort of got back into it through Momentum. But for a while, like I was doing like, you know, texture editing stuff that I basically learned just through being friends with Momentum people, like Cabbage and Bongiorno, where like we were just chatting about like texture design stuff, and I got interested in Substance Designer, and learned some stuff through that. I've not really actually contributed much of that stuff to Momentum, but I definitely could have if I stuck with it.
Yeah.
Like we don't tend to be in like the public voice that much anymore, unfortunately. But like if you do want to do more Momentum stuff and like you like the project and you're kind of interested, give me a DM if you want, like, and we could like try to like find stuff. Like it a lot of the time, like game dev is something it's so specific, right? Like a lot of the time when you're making specific things for a game, like it's not something you can just say like, oh, make me this logo or whatever, this single image or whatever. It's like it's more, you need someone who's like actually like up to date with like what Momentum is and cares about Momentum as a project,
Yeah.
but also like has quite a lot of quite general skills. And if you are that kind of person, there often is quite a lot of stuff. For instance, like video editing. Like some of the trailers and stuff, like I think I did the like 09, 4, 5, 6, and 7 Pog. You won't be able to beat the next thing.
I can do it.
If you know, a lot of the Momentum like release trailers and stuff I did. I'm not really a video editor, but like it's not that hard to learn. Like DaVinci Resolve and like a couple of like YouTube tutorials and stuff, and like doing like a decent like putting videos and stuff together is not that hard. Hopefully with some of the future stuff we'll have Chaz doing that, but I mean, you know, video people like potentially be quite useful in the future. Again, I'm being like really vague here because it's really hard to give like specific kind of jobs that we need from people. A lot of the time it is just like if you're just like really into Momentum, like, and you want to just chat with us and just come out, hang out in voice or whatever, like we can often give you or like find stuff to do. It's so hard to like give like a really specific thing because so much of it is like very context dependent and hard to like write up in like a GitHub issue or whatever. And like, I don't know. As always, I'm rambling, but
I guess
can
to
think of a
kind of go
a
ahead.
couple more things that are just generally helpful. Opening GitHub issues for things. Lots of stuff gets talked about but doesn't get tracked, and then I forget about it.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you see something and you like search it on GitHub and it's not there, make an issue for it because that is the best way to track stuff. Sometimes I forget like what are we doing with plus strafe and Ahop again, and then I have to think about it and remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Another thing that could be really useful right now is our documentation is super out of date. Always going to be out of date because there's always going to be things changing, but some stuff like a lot of the movement CVARs have changed, and those probably aren't going to be changing much ever again. Maybe some of them, but yeah, like if somebody could just go through like the CVARs that are in the game compared to the CVARs that are on the docs and update them, that would be really useful. Couple of other things, like this is some more involved stuff that you really have to talk to us.
I
more
will
about.
make sorry. I will make
This
it.
is more involved stuff, like with artwork. We need models, we need animations, we need assets like that.
Yeah.
Sound effects. We need sound effects. We need current sound effects to be fixed up and volume normalized. That's kind of a big thing. But
can I just talk about the
a lot of-
specifics of that for a moment?
Yeah, go ahead.
That like we have like if you like listen to the fucking railgun in Momentum right now, it is so loud. that's like something that anyone could do. Like you have to learn a little bit about like how source like sound manifest files work or whatever.
Yeah.
It takes like a minute to understand. It's not hard. Like it's just a text document that you edit. Like someone that's would just like spend an hour just going through all of that and getting it normalized, like that would be really helpful. Like we've had some sound people that we sort of brought on that we hope would do that, and then I don't think we really ever got it out of anyone. Like, and that's not, you don't have to have really any technical skills besides like using a text editor for that, right?
And
you
your
just
ears.
need to be kind of like
You gotta be able to use your ears.
yeah, or ear in my case.
I mean, I think we want to. One of the things that I've noticed a lot when making placeholder sounds for stuff is that our sounds, as a like general rule, are really quiet. Like the actual sound files themselves are too quiet. I think someone needs to go in and like edit the sound files, because otherwise it's just kind of a pain in the ass. Because you go to make some placeholder sound like, oh, I want to use some Half-Life 2 sound, and then it like deafens me as soon as I hear it, because it's always, and it's not that Half-Life 2 is loud, it's that our game is quiet. Every other game sounds that I've used are
I think I just like random bounced into an edge bug. What the fuck was that? That was insane. Okay, sorry.
That's
But Lumi, I just have to jump on that because that's such a good example of the kind of work that is so useful for us, which is like someone is like goes in, looks at our sounds and like these sounds are a mess. Also, your sounds are louder than like stuff from other games. Like if you come up with that, say like post that on Discord, and then you say like, can I just like normalize this on Audacity or whatever, like, and do that? That is like an incredibly valuable like thing for us. Getting that kind of work out of people is so useful because like for especially for programmers where like a lot of us do kind of quite a lot of these kind of odd jobs, but like we'd much rather spend our time like focusing on like specific dev stuff or whatever. Like having people that will do that is like absolutely invaluable. Where it's not just like, for God's sake, like
I got my strategies.
About, like, taking initiative, right? It's just being like asking like a sensible question, like, does this make any sense or whatever? If someone says like, no, you're right, these sound like the sounds are completely off, and then just going in and being like, okay, I'll change these and update them on Git. We'd have to give you the game Git thing, but we do that. Like that kind of thing of like identifying a problem, taking the initiative, and just asking about it first, ideally, but then just like being like, okay, I'll just fix this. That is so useful, and honestly, people doing that are like, I cannot say how invaluable that is to projects like this, of like unpaid volunteer projects, like people that will just like take that initiative and just do it, right? So yeah, be picky, like bring it up with us first, but like the main thing is like communication. You just got to be like, okay, whatever, just notice something, discuss it, and then fix it. It's just so good. And if you do that a lot, like you get used to just contributing to momentum. And like having people that will do that is just, oh my god, it's so useful. It's so useful. And we have some people that do that, but like people come and go and it varies. Like yeah, the railgun is fucking awful right now.
I guess to kind of summarize, at least like my opinion, is that even like if you want to contribute but you don't think that your contribution is sort of like big, you know, for example the sound example, it's small but it really helps, so don't be afraid. We'll either need it in the future or it's just like small thing, but you know, like finally somebody's helping us.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't be afraid. We're not biting. So.
What the fuck am I supposed to do here?
In terms of contribution, I guess I would sum it up as basically any UI related stuff, any asset related stuff, any non-game related stuff. All of that is kind of open to contribute to. Any documentation, all of that. Pretty much the only thing you can't contribute to is the closed source game code.
Yeah.
So pretty much anything. If you see something that you want to improve, talk to us and see if we can help you improve it.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on different question.
Yeah. Yeah, the next one.
Glyph asks, what parts of the future development are you the most excited about?
I'm still here. Don't worry, I didn't leave. So I'll go first. I'm excited for releasing. To be fair, the question does say part, and not necessarily the like what like feature or something. In terms of like the actual process, the 1.0 release is going to be such a fucking huge event for everyone on the team that I can't even fathom how it's gonna go yet. But I'm it's what I'm looking forward to the most. Like, I usually don't look so far in the future for things. I usually kind of as a person just kind of think about things in the next 3 to 6 months. But the 1.0 release, right? Whenever it's ready, it's just gonna be so I don't know. It's such a huge momentous occasion. Definitely pun intended there. Of it is a culmination of not just years of work, but just the transformation from where the project started as to what it'll be, and having people finally be able to play something that they've been hearing about for a while, or just heard about or something, whatever. But I can't do this joke. I call forfeit here. I can't do it. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, I for the most part am just looking forward to getting the game out and seeing how people like it. I joked about this a ton in previous Q&A questions, or I'm making this game to play it. So but it's funny because at 1.0 it's do I play it at all, or do I just watch how it gets played? Right? Do I watch how people like it? Right? 'Cause it's a genuine question, because it's I do want to enjoy the fruits of everyone's labor, right? Of mine and everyone's labor, but I also really want to see how people like it, because it's I made something, and it's does it explode? Does it, how are other people enjoying it? How many bugs are there going to be? That kind of stuff where it's are the servers on fire, right? That kind of stuff where it's I'm on one hand a little terrified by it, but I'm just so excited for finally getting it out, and it'll have all of the systems that we've designed well beforehand, tested well beforehand, and it goes out, and assuming that we have a steady flow of maps, we have a steady flow of I guess community events that would keep the community engaged with us as a dev team. Right, these Q&A streams, other development streams. We can bring back things like the holiday events where we go on the stream and we all make a a 3D model and get that into the new main menu background, stuff like that, to bring back a sense of community. And yeah, I don't know. So I'll be playing it. I just I'm really just looking forward to seeing how all of it clicks together, because that if you ever develop anything, that's the best part. Release is one thing, right? But actually having Momentum 1.0 as a package, and just seeing how clean our code is now, how, and just it's just amazing to see that.
The thing our Grafana dashboard is on 1.0. That's gonna be just the most glorious thing of
seeing a line go up and then stabilize. Yeah.
But I also think satisfaction for us on release is I think we are gonna get Momentum out. And if I didn't think we were gonna, I wouldn't be working on Momentum.
Yeah.
I would have called my whatever it is one out. I think we will get it out, and I think for a project that is a volunteer thing of this scale, I think stuff's actually going quite well.
Yeah.
There's definitely been ups and downs, but I think stuff's going alright for the most part. I think if we can get it out and make Momentum actually work, I think there'll be some frustration we couldn't get it out sooner. I'm pretty consistently frustrated we can't get it out sooner, but that's just how this stuff goes.
Yeah.
Unless someone gives us a shitload of money, we have the skill to do it. We don't have the time. It's just how these things work and how society works. We don't. But sorry. So parts of future development. Most excited for. Can I talk about some specific technical stuff then?
Yes. Yeah.
No. No. So for backend, I think we'll test the waters a bit after 010 and see. We have this plan to move a lot of our backend stuff to WebSockets rather than HTTP, which basically means sending data to our backend doesn't take like a million different things to let us know who you are and how to store your data, and it's just better.
Yeah.
How we do this, I'm not completely sure yet, because I want to see metrics from our time launch and think about our timing and what else we've got to work on and how realistically this plays into the 1.0 stuff and how much it might slow down 1.0. But I think we will do it of some sort. And that will allow us to get a lot more player data about map playtime, because we'll kind of be knowing what you're doing at all times and take stats from that. We might do some opt-out stuff for like not recording certain stats for that, but But in general, like, it's nice to know like what class you play the most or what map you play the most. Sorry, I was gonna make a joke about like if you like what TF2 class you play the most, and then just said that immediately. Like, what game mode you play the most, and like there's a lot we can get out of that relatively easily, and it's kind of I think with some of the, at least from my sort of proficiency with a lot of our backend stuff, a lot of this stuff I learned just starting our momentum, and I now feel a lot more competent with. I think moving a lot of our stuff to WebSockets will be quite easy to do. Not easy, but like relatively okay to do, and like the things that make it most complicated we kind of understand, and I think we've kind of got good heads on our shoulders now. I think when we started, like, picked up our current backend stack and stuff, like, there was some bad decisions made there, but nothing fatal, but just things that are a bit annoying, like Prisma. But like, I think with future stuff, like, I don't know, I feel quite optimistic about future web work, and it's like we do have more stuff to do that's not just like adding new HTTP endpoints to what we currently have, which would be nice if that was all we needed to do, but we do need to do more than just that. But I think making those changes will be like relatively easy. And I think we're kind of in this position of, if you do web dev work a lot, there's often this kind of atmosphere of like, oh, you need to rewrite your stack every 5 years or whatever and do all this kind of silly stuff. And I think the way we set our stuff up now means that, like, if we do need to rewrite stuff, it doesn't matter very much, but also we generally shouldn't, and we're in a pretty stable spot. And so building off of that, I think this is quite a vague answer. It's just, I guess, from point of view of me, of like as a backend dev, like I think we're in a position now where like our current like approach to stuff like really fits our current level of developer activity and scope of the project for once. And I think in previous times of momentum, it's either been like, it's just not fit that. It's either been like us, like we've been trying to do way too much and it doesn't make sense and it's going to be a mess, or we're trying to do it like too quickly and too loosely and it's just like a college project or whatever, and it's just not going to ever be viable in the future. So again, this is a long, boring answer, but future development stuff, I think, like, we have 010, finishing 010, getting the backend rerouted, and then getting all the zoning stuff cleaned up, and now feeling like just a lot of our game code, like the momentum-specific parts of source, are just really clean, and that the future stuff we can work on, like, we have, like, good communication between the engine devs. I think there's something we do need to talk about and work on, like making sure that like Slidey and people are like really like involved with like the changes to replay, stuff like that. But for the most part, like I think we're kind of in this position of like we're all quite good at working together, and so we can keep doing this stuff well in the future. But also, we have a much more solid base to work from post 010. So, that was a really boring answer. I'm sorry, but yeah.
It's how it is sometimes, though. I don't know. It's just, the developer, like, was it, or like team, just kind of the less, not friction, but just like the more like compatible we are too.
Of the recent work we've had on Momentum, I think it's been excellent. I think the work that Rio's been doing in particular, but also Panzer and Ellis and people, of the new zoning stuff. I've been really happy with Gordy, who's been one of our newer web people. Gordy's just been great to work with. Osbo's been good. Like, I'd love more web devs. Like, and frankly, we could really do with more. But like of the
Yeah.
people we have, I really enjoy working with them, and I really appreciate the quality of like a lot of the code we've been doing, especially Rio's stuff. I really have to point out that like I think Rio's new zoning stuff is just excellent, and having that and beyond the kind of level of like, I mean, if you just look at like the way Rio structured everything, and it's just clean, and it's just maybe I'm a pedant for that stuff, but I just think it's really, really nice having it be that like that well thought out, and that gives me kind of more confidence in the project than anything else, really.
Yeah. I mean, and
But
that's the nice part of it too. Is like, yeah, you bring on more people that have more and more experience with it, and it's
I just
I'm
want to
always
point out
just
that
yeah.
if there's anyone I didn't point out there that I think has been doing really good stuff, especially people that have been contributing to Momentum recently.
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned Panzer. I don't think I mentioned Game Chaos.
Max been doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Max, oh my god, Max so much fun to teach. Max like so smart, and he just isn't a programmer. So like teaching smart people that aren't programmers how to program is like, oh, it's the best because it's so easy, and it's just nice. So
I think the thing that I'm the most excited about is for Defrag to be finished, like 100% finished.
Yeah.
Polished, assets for everything, HUD elements for everything, no bugs, all three physics, just done, completely done. That's
Yeah.
what
All
I'm
three?
excited for.
What's the third one?
Vintage.
Yeah. Vintage.
Oh, right. Yeah, vintage.
are we planning on getting on leaderboard?
I mean, I am. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't. As long as no one objects.
We'll need to get very clear what it is and all that, but I mean, I don't think anyone's
I
gonna.
think it's pretty much finalized in terms of physics. It's in the game right now. It's already done. It's
So
been in the game
is
for over a
it
year.
part of Quake 3 or like a regular defrag or?
Yeah, it's kind of inspired by Diabolical Vintage, which the
Yeah.
idea is like the strafing is like source games basically. It's kind of like low air
Okay.
Excel, Half-Life type stuff. Kind
Yeah.
of inspired by Quake World.
But do you think it'll be okay getting that in as a kind of trial period post 010 and then maybe finalizing that after then? Or were you hoping to get that in as a full mode for 010?
Oh.
I was hoping to get it in as a full mode. I mean, like I said, it's implemented. It's been implemented for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's in the game. There's
People playing it? Or we have like testing?
I have no idea if anyone's playing it or not. No one really
Yeah.
mentions it. I think not a lot of people are aware it exists because most people don't necessarily expect it to exist. But yeah, if you set physics type to 2, you get vintage movement. So
Can you yell at the defraggers to do that more then?
I could. I'm not sure how many of them would want to play it though. I mean, probably some of them would. It's still defrag.
If we can get it, if we want to do it and we can get it in for 010, then like that saves us having to like re-leaderboard maps, like add new leaderboards for maps just for that. So that would be nice. But I think it probably does need like a lot of player feedback, right?
I should. Can
What do
I?
you think, Reed?
Yeah, were you saying something, Happy?
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of make a blitz because we have some questions in the Q&A live that we can kind of go through real quick to kind of close the question about what part of the future
let's do that because the vintage stuff like it definitely you should yell at people more, but we should definitely talk about internally, right? So.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I haven't felt like it needs a ton of playtesting. Like it's kind of just there. Like it's.
But is vintage a mode that people already play in other games, or?
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of inspired by Diabolical, and there is obviously speedrunning in the Quake 1 and Quake 2 communities. It's not a one-to-one recreation of like Quake World or Quake 2, the way that CPM and VQ3 are pretty much one-to-one with Quake 3 Defrag. It's more inspired by, but yeah, I mean, there is precedent. Like I said, Diabolical has a vintage physics. Diabolical has 3 physics, so mainly inspired by what they've done. And it seems to be pretty popular in Diabolical. I've seen Owl stream a couple of competitions, and it has a lot of players for Diabolical, I guess. I don't know how many people play Diabolical.
Yeah, that game was really good. I just haven't played it since like launch. We'll still steal the HUD out of it. I'm kidding. I mean, kind of steal it. It's been a big inspiration. But,
Can I go?
Oh, future parts of development.
Yes.
Happy wanted to move on, but we should. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
I'll
I
be real
mean,
quick.
we can
No.
tell. I just suggested.
No, Panzer, absolutely, go ahead.
Well, I'm excited about the roaming lobby system. Just having players seamlessly be able to play maps together. Just like play your favorite map, and other people can just join.
Mhm.
There's no lobbies. There's no server browser. It's just all seamless.
Yeah.
And that's like I feel like it's a very innovative system. I don't know any other games that have a multiplayer system like that. So I'm just excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, there's like games like Journey and stuff have kind of multiplayer elements like that, but it's really just a matter of like this is what joining a public server for your favorite map would be like if you have it enabled. So it's I'm really looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Also for like newly released maps, mappers just like being able to see everybody that plays their map like very easily. That's also very fun. Like that's probably one of the most satisfying things about being a mapper, at least for me. Seeing the initial reaction to it.
Yeah, and we were talking about doing that kind of like first week stuff for it and all the like. I don't know. There's so much more we can do for like really promoting maps on first launch that I'm really excited for.
Yeah, map tournaments. Like we can do daily. Like we have like challenge system stuff to spec and implement still that I'm really excited about, like doing like dailies and stuff, like playing maps that you
do this on our back end. Like our back end is going to be so good for this.
Yeah.
Like yes, Nest.js is a part of shit, but it's really good for like writing this kind of stuff. Like these kind of services are so nice, and our DB stuff for this is so simple. It's going to be so good. I can't wait.
Oh no! It bounced away.
I think with multiplayer we do need to like sit down and talk about it a bit more. Right? With some of the Ghost stuff, like it seems like we do need like a bit more continuity between different devs. I think we've gotten really better in the last year when it comes to discussion between core momentum engine devs. I think it's quite often the case with like game devs or the kind of like. This isn't me being rude to anyone, but like of people that are like very good game devs, but not necessarily that used to working with other people, that like we just don't do that many kind of team meetings or whatever. And I know it can sound really tedious, like kind of David Brent style, like we got to get in a fucking meeting or whatever all the time. But like it really does help, and like getting kind of like continuity between everyone, like. With multiplayer, I think we've kind of not done that because we got licensed and kind of ported it to Strata or Chaos, whatever, and like didn't necessarily get like a kind of complete clarity of like how. I don't know. I don't really know the system well enough to comment on it, but it felt like there's been different people feeling a bit kind of. Were you gonna say something to me or?
What?
Nothing. Sorry. I thought you yeah, ghost stuff. I'm a bit like worried about just because we need to like discuss it more. I think just to get roaming lobby to like completely make sense. But once we do, like, it's gonna be like Steam multiplayer gives us so much freedom that it is like we should, in theory, be able to have basically what like existing game servers do, but for free and also better. So yeah. Sorry, did anyone else had future development stuff or?
Kind of. Well, it's not really development, but maybe it's kind of like egoistical of me to say. But I mean, I started as a composer for Payday 2, right? Just some unofficial music, and now I have an honor to do a Memento menu track, which is fucking. It's cool, you know. So and that's really just cool, I guess. That's what I wanted to do.
I would love to get us in more of a like music meeting sometime, because your music stuff is really good. I want to get that like really integrated with the actual menu sounds, like of it, like the noises that UI makes stuff. Because
we can do that, I guess. Development wise, for me, I guess music, not music wise, but like a technical side of music, if that makes sense, you know, because I know there are different sound engines that don't accept like this way for something like that, you know. And I know it because I made stuff for Payday too. It's sometimes really hard to just like you mentioned earlier, to set up the right volume for the sounds. I don't know why, because like I remember I did some mods and I put one volume setting on every music track I've made, and it sounds different in Payday. I don't know why. So I guess kind of learn how it works internally would be cool for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's music and stuff like that's always a fun, because like we gotta have a theme, but like we also don't want to like blast people, you know. Oh hey, Bob.
I would love to talk about theme stuff a bit, like actual like musical themes. I want we need a leitmotif, you know, like
Yeah.
I want a leitmotif, like for me specifically, like of like when I'm playing, I get my own little like trill on like a little flute. Do you think you can do that for me, Happy? Please.
I mean, I can. We can try. I can put it in the menu track.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. Like you hover over the people in the credits and you get their little noise.
Oh, yeah, actually, I can. Try to.
UAE starts playing when you hover
Oh,
over.
But yeah, when you get your little Walter meow.
Oh yeah.
I do think it would be nice to talk a bit more about like theme stuff, just for the menu track. I like the current like vibe of it, but like if we had more of a like actual theme for it, that would be fun. I think it's just so hard, like getting like a musical score that like identifies something with a thing.
For me, it's about sounds, I guess, because the one of the reason when I joined the team, one of the reason was that I heard the Monolith's theme. I think it's public on YouTube. And there's some sounds that when I heard them and I saw the screenshots of the game, and I'm like, that's the sound. It's like kind of future plug thingy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really cool. And I think actually Monolith sent me the file for that sound. So
I
yeah.
feel like you have to cook the second one a bit later.
That's what I was thinking too, but like I start like the apex of the second jump, just the third one I think needs to be cooked faster, but I guess I'm just not paying enough attention. Like right there, and then you go up, and then you throw it, and then yeah, okay. It really is just timing. Oh yeah, okay.
What is that tweet? Everyone got that homie who leitmotif is always sounding or whatever. I don't know.
I'm not sure either. Is that a drill tweet?
No, it's someone else. Oh. I would love to get more momentum, like sound meetings. Sometimes Happy's in voice, and I join a bit, and we do it a bit. But we should get more people in that at some point to discuss like sound stuff more. Should we move on to the next couple of questions? We had a few
on Q&A live, I guess.
Yeah, let's go through a couple of them because we're at 250.
Oh,
we got a couple of
We can kind of rush them if you want.
I like exeloar's one. Do you want to read exeloar's?
Yeah, exeloar asks what parts of development have caused the reaction of why hasn't someone written a tool to do this already?
Because this kind of touches on previous stuff where, on one hand, I think the main thing should be why hasn't someone written like a good integration for this existing tool already, i.e. Blender. And so we've got SourceOps does that pretty well, and there's also that other one. Like I think a lot of the time with game tooling, and I'm doing some stuff for Lumper, I'm being way too much of a fucking perfectionist with Lumper, and I need to stop. It's just I'm a UI person, and I'm an oil man, and yeah, I just can't resist like making it look nice. But with some game tooling, like tooling is surprisingly hard.
I didn't know it went that way. God damn it! I'm gonna get this jump. Yeah, mainly tooling. It is tooling because we're going to be editing maps and stuff, and it's surprising that given how many like servers and stuff there are, that there's just not people that have patched maps. Like the BSP format is technically open.
Yeah.
Like that's what's surprising for me is like we are making Lumper, which could for other Source 1 titles be a nice map editing tool for them if they need to do it. It is weird, but you know.
I think Stripper gives you a way to like keep your changes to yourself to an extent. Maybe there's not people just trying to be closed, but like it does have that benefit maybe for some people that like the fact that Lumper can read a Stripper config and just apply the whole thing and it's just done permanently. Yeah, it is weird that we don't have that. That just isn't already a thing.
Or maybe like, it is, but it's private. I don't know. But like, that's the weirdest part. Second weirdest part is converters. Things like Blender being able to output, you know, and it required Bonge to basically make that. There was Source Blender tools or whatever, but that was like abandoned, I think. So it's like, it's just interesting that, like there's so much talking about, oh, are you guys going to replace Hammer or whatever? And it's like, nobody else has, right? Like VMF's open, like BSP format's open, like all of this stuff could have been done before us even, but nobody has. And that's like, that's surprising.
I really appreciate the people working on Strata that are doing Hammer stuff. Yeah. Especially SL and other people just doing the Qt port, which is great because I think that is the best way to improve Hammer. I mean, you can do what Fico did with Hammer++, but you really do get like a lot of positive benefits. I can't say that like that's not useful. It's just that you have to put up with a lot of like dog shit existing Valve code and just work around it. To some extent, not just work around it, but build off of it. And I think that's quite hard for some of us. That being said, I do really respect what Fico's done with Hammer++. I think we all do. Fico like is like a friend of the show, and we talk to Fico all the time. But yeah, I do feel like with tooling, like just use fucking Blender. Do what you can with like Blender, and then do the rest with Hammer. Because have you seen people that are good at Blender? Like, are you not envious of what they can do? Yes, you've spent thousands of hours making stuff in Hammer. But like, look at that person using Blender. Like, So yeah, the most people do use Stripper. It's just why people haven't done the thing that Stripper does. A lot of Lumper, not to disparage any of Bird's work, but about like a third of Lumper's stuff, not the Stripper stuff, but a lot of the Lumper BSP passing was just I was learning C# like 3 years ago, and I just wrote like the beginnings of Lumper. Yeah. Because it was a helpful way to like learn a bit more about Source BSP stuff, and I kind of had some kind of lost for your goals, but for the most part, like I was just learning C#, and C# is a very good language. We should do something like Lumper in. Though Bird did all the stuff. Anyway, sorry. Can we race through the other questions actually?
Yeah. Let me open them.
Let me. So sorry. Well, okay. So Redz was asking, what are the differences between Half-Life 1 Bhop and Source Bhop? I'm not sure any of us are. Panzer, can you? Or Lumia, maybe.
I'm not super knowledgeable, but I do know some things. Like there's double ducking. The player hole is different, like a different size. Like your camera is closer to the ground.
The biggest thing is the low air accel, right? I mean, CS.
Yeah, 10 air accelerate.
Yeah, we have what? What is it? Like 1,000?
Yeah.
Half-Life is 1.
I think Bhop is 1,000.
10. Sorry.
Your jump height is also different. I think CSS jump height is a little higher.
There's that normalization thing or surface friction thing that Golden Source Bhop doesn't have. You don't get an acceleration penalty when you're moving up under a certain speed.
Right. Yeah. Plus your ground speed is just much faster. I think it's 320 units, something like that.
I think so. That's what it is in Quake, and I don't think they changed it for Half-Life.
It's either 320 or 300. So yeah, it's like faster, but you have less air control. That's probably the main.
We will get this right in the future. I would love to do this like game mode info page on the learn section, probably, where we have this in our game UI. We've got to get that right. That'd be fun to localize as well. That'd be a big localization job. But Yeah, we will do that. Make you spectate happy. Well, on Bhop Canal.
Oh yeah.
We've got a
I'll
couple
give
more
this.
questions.
I'll give this a couple more tries, but this will probably be where we end the stream anyway.
Okay.
I'm close. I can feel it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Miss Swift was asking, you guys thinking about adding some menus like csgo for zones checkpoints? Might be useful for new and practical for new users. We have that. We have save logs, if that's what you mean, which is in the keybinds menu. Is Z is the default, but there's a menu for it in the keybinds.
By the way, the questions didn't update in the stream.
No,
Yeah.
we don't have it in the
slides.
Yeah.
well, with the way Nick does it. I just have it share the Chrome window for me, but
No.
Nick has some fancy setup, I think.
Yeah, I just go into present mode, which doesn't update the slides for some reason either. One of
I feel
these
like with
days, a Google engineer
Maybe
will
with
fix
Munted
it.
thing because it's art specific. We don't have any art people. Maybe we'll do that next time. I don't know.
I mean, for the last
Or-
question, we can definitely answer like,
Well, I mean,
yeah, we need a lot of assets, and a lot of the current assets are out of date and need to be replaced.
But we've been getting there. A lot of the stuff with the big new root models that Ethan's been doing, like Ethan's done most like the stuff that looks like good. A lot of the time the lighting's fucking dog shit because it's source. Ethan did. So frankly, like we gave him like a completely raw deal with Defrag because Ethan doesn't play Defrag at all. And it's like, oh yeah, you need to do like 7 new weapon models or whatever, and like doing like good like full weapon models takes a really long time. Like Ethan doing, I guess like the rocket launcher model or something takes him like, I don't know, maybe like 80 hours work. It might be a totally terrible estimate, but something like that. Like it's a lot of work. Like getting the like doing models well, because yeah, I don't know.
God damn it.
You're so good at this, Nick.
I can get up to that, I can get up to that little spot up there, but damn, anything higher is a fucking chore. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever sometimes I look back at the original like issue for adding defrag, and it's like maybe add VQ3 possibly.
Yeah.
Like I think that whoever initially decided that Momentum Mod should have defrag didn't really do their homework. I don't think the team knew what we were getting into.
No, I think that's I'm gonna go as far as say that's been a mistake on our part with some feature things where we've just been naive about how much it is. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think to answer the question, Chad, yeah, I think we'd definitely be open to getting new 3D artists. I think the main thing is like making sure that everyone collaborates, and so we don't get a ton of stuff that's in totally different art styles. But yeah, I think we could definitely do as long as we're not changing the art style completely or something like that. But
Ethan is, as far as I know, not planning on doing much more momentum model stuff. Maybe some more player model stuff or whatever, but like we're not expecting like maybe he'd do a new weapon model or something, but like we couldn't be like, oh yeah, we're adding a whole new game mode, can you do all these weapons and stuff for it? Like Ethan's still our 3D lead and he'll do some organizational stuff, but like he's also working on his own game. Catboy Zoom. And it's just, I mean, this is just how a lot of these projects work. The reality of it is, when it comes to like having very programming heavy things like Momentum, where a lot of the existing content is already there, right? The main thing of like user content that Momentum has, or like player content, is existing maps. It is a programmer-centric project. I could talk for hours about that, and like, I think it's a really interesting topic of like how we could maybe approach that differently, knowing that, because it does give a really different kind of overall kind of, I don't know. But I mean, for us, having animators would be really important, and the main thing is animation and like rigging, and we just not many people give a shit about that for Source 1, frankly.
Yeah.
Vortex is really busy with other stuff. If we can get more stuff out of Vortex, that'd be great. But we're not like expecting him to like do the entire thing necessarily. Just it's a shitload of work, and it really depends on his life situation. And we're not gonna like arrogantly assume that someone can just be like, "Oh yeah, can you like do all of this for us, please?"
Yeah.
So we'd love more people doing it. Unfortunately, it does often mean learning a bunch of Source 1 archaic shit, which fucking sucks. Like,
Honestly, one of the things that I would like to see, and I've thought about doing this myself before, is just getting placeholder assets in place for some stuff so that we stop reusing the same assets for things. That would be really helpful as well from the programming side. Like, for example, the lightning gun needs to have a lightning beam that comes out of the model, so it needs like an attachment point. But we don't have a model with an attachment point like that.
right, yeah.
I can't prototype that.
You do.
and-
You need to get a bit better in nagging, I think.
Did map load times slow down recently? I thought it was like really quick before.
Did you say I need to get better at nagging?
Yeah, you gotta nag Vortex and Ethan more.
Well, every time I've done that before, the response has always been, yeah, that's not very high priority. Like, we don't want to do a BFG model, so like maybe we'll never do a BFG. So I just
Well,
don't.
you gotta give
I've
a
given up.
reason. You gotta.
I've tried, but like I don't
You
know. I
gotta
don't
get
want to
better at
fight
nagging.
that.
Look, if you need to DM me and be like, Tom, how do I nag Ethan to do stuff? And then I'll be like, I'll sneak up on him and nag him.
I guess. I mean, part of it is that it is a lot of work, which is.
No.
I mean, because
Yeah.
I said I would do this a long time ago, and then I finally got around to it, like a couple months after I said I'd do it. But I made this big list of like all the assets I think Defrag needs, and it's like an entire spreadsheet. Because like every weapon has a model, every weapon has like a projectile model, has like a
Yeah.
tracer particle, an explosion decal, sounds for all of that, fire sound, explosion sound, trail sound. Like it's a ton of stuff, you know? Like if we want even just like parity with the level of like assets that Quake 3 has, which I think we do if we want it to look halfway decent.
Yeah.
Like it's so much stuff, which is
Yeah.
why I was thinking like even if someone could just make some placeholders, you know, take the
Yeah.
blender cube and stretch it out a little bit and make it look vaguely gun shaped, slap something in there just so that we can kind of like spec out and see better like what actually needs to be done. You know, just put some like shitty Half-Life 2 type particles in there. Just like get everything in there so that way like anything that needs code to get working can be done. And then we have like a really good visual indicator every time someone plays Defrag, like, oh, that model looks like shit. We need to replace it or something like that. And that's probably something I could do myself. I have like a very small amount of like amateur 3D Blender experience. I could probably figure out how to rig source engine stuff. I just really don't want to because it sounds like a fucking nightmare.
That's the thing, is I think
every
a lot
time
of
I
it
have to look at
comes to, like,
VDC.
I mean, VDC is pretty good in some cases, but still getting stuff into source is like. Sorry, were you saying this before you saw Voodoo to Live's chat, or?
No, this is just something I was thinking of because he
Yeah,
mentioned like, do we want more 3D artists? And it's like, yeah. And we don't necessarily need 3D artists who are like, it would be great if we could get people who are making like really high quality finalized models and stuff. But like, even if someone could just make us like placeholder assets for some things, like that would be good.
I think a big part of us, again with like other dev stuff I was talking about, like people would really like to get on the team would be people that aren't just like communicative and you want to like not do that, Nick.
Why is this a thing?
it's wet usually. Yeah, so fully, if you wanted to get in touch with us, like definitely give us a shout on the Discord. I think we should be doing more where we bring potential people into team meetings more. We should do that a bit more, I think. We should start doing that more. I think with like a lot of a lot of like it's very hard like being like the lead dev in a certain area and being the kind of manager of that.
Yeah.
So I think with artists a lot of the time, say with Ethan False _ doing like 3D stuff, he's had to do both. He's made like spend shitloads of time, frankly, making like really, really nice models like a player model that look shit in Source, and frankly, we don't even have in the Source engine yet. It's been like 2 years, and we still haven't got it fucking rigged. And it's like, but also, like I was saying, Catboy Zoom, Ethan's doing his own game and stuff, and like it's just, it's hard to do both the contributions as a kind of enthusiastic dev and do the managerial stuff. And I really appreciate people that can do both. I think we have a bit more of that on the programming side, but we're fucking psychos.
Yeah.
Like, and so getting more people that would be, if I need to like go yell at Ethan to like be communicative with like other 3D people, he'll absolutely do that. Like, he's great. Like, and he will do that. It is just that, like, it's working on other
Yeah.
game dev stuff, and like, it's just how the industry and stuff works. And I think it is also just a big fact that it is like Source stuff. But yeah, Food, if you wanna get in touch with us, absolutely do, because we'd love to get people that are like friendly and wanna work on stuff more.
Yeah.
I do think with Momentum, like, it is a really kind of a raw deal for artists that we've had, because for one, we had this notion of doing the campaign like really early on that I think was bad. Like, where we planned to do, this whole kind of Momentum like full single player campaign at the same time as doing like Momentum as a multiplayer game. And that's a noble ambition. It's just in practice, it's a fucking nightmare to do. And so like given that we are mostly working on Momentum as this kind of, oh, it's a thingy, it's dog. Oh wait, that's G-Man. Like, as a
Shot him.
rep, it's if keeping people enthusiastic. Like, programmers always have shit to do on this project. Artists don't, right? And so it's really hard to be like, yeah, can you keep up with this stuff, or like either like do nothing and just sit around, or do this kind of like half-assed thing that like we vaguely have in the works. Like, neither of those things are inspiring, right? Like, you can't tell people like, hey, can you work on these campaign maps and like do that for like 4 years, even though we don't have a particularly clear idea of what that is. This isn't like a diss on anyone. Like, I think like I wasn't on the team at the time, but like, I for one, I've nosed through some of the old Discord chat history, and like I really sympathize with everyone. Like, everyone's like really wants to make this stuff work. It's just doing that stuff, like making games, is a fucking nightmare. And so if you have a bunch of like, programmers doing their stuff in their free time that then are like all the artists and then just waiting on stuff from them, like, that's just a recipe for disaster, right?
I think that we do have a lot of stuff to work on. It's just that, kind of like how you said earlier, it's kind of a very programmer-centric project.
Yeah.
We programmers haven't always been good at like communicating that with artists or supporting artists. Like, for example, I think it was Vortex who was working on the like power-up models and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he was asking me something about like setting up the models in a particular way, and I was like, I have no idea, because I don't, like, I can look at the game code at some point, but I have no idea how source
Yeah.
engine asset
Yeah.
stuff works. And I feel like maybe I personally should really get better at that and learn that so that I can support artists more. But
very often the programmers don't know that stuff.
yeah, I don't know anything about how, like, the details of how source engine modeling stuff works, and like it's kind of hard to figure out just by looking at the code, to be fair. But yeah, I think we just need to communicate with artists better, and get them to communicate what we need, basically.
Yeah, so the main thing we need for 1.0 when it comes to mainly mapping stuff, at least, is learn section. In previously with learn, like I did a bit of the panorama learn side of stuff to try get like a sort of very like bare bones setup that then mappers could use. And I think for the most part, like, everyone did a pretty good job. It's just there's not really any coherence between the maps. So I'm not sure it's necessarily a programming issue there. It's more so just an organizational thing of like, we really need people to be on the same page about like styling. And frankly, I guess it is a programming thing. We really do need to get a lot of the UI to be a lot more a lot more better. So I don't know. Well, have you played this map much, Nick?
I forget the route. Well, I know generally where you go, but like I haven't looked at speedruns yet. Oh.
But yeah, I think in short, we do have a lot of stuff for artists to do. Like we have a pretty large backlog actually of assets that we need.
And I think really close to 10 with Learn, we are really going to get on. At least I do quite a lot of stuff on Momentum, and I worry that I'm being too bossy all the time. I probably ask people in a way that's really annoying. Like, am I being too bossy? And I do that all the time. But at the same time, I probably am too bossy as well, so I'm like doubly annoying. But
I don't think you are.
Like, okay. But what are you looking at, Nick?
The Citadel.
What a beautiful thing.
I've
But
never seen it lit up
I
like
think
that.
post 010, I've been aiming to do more organizational work there because I think we need it. Of doing the sorry, no, not so much in general, but I mean, I guess I do quite a lot of organizational work in general, but mainly for Learn section, unless anyone else wants to do it, is like actually really trying to get remember to pick up the Magnum, Nick. Is like that's just cheating. Just the gates just never close.
Hey, I gotta hop off. I gotta eat dinner in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
getting distracted.
We have kind of hit our limit here on the time.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that was the last question. I will say, if I can just get like a personal defrag artist who will just work on everything I tell them to exactly as I tell them to, just follow all my orders unquestioningly, that would be perfect. just do nothing but defrag assets.
Yeah.
Do we need like some sound effects with power ups still?
But we need everything. We need like literally all of it. Sound
Uh-huh.
effects, particles, animations, models, UI elements, all of it. It's kind of a wonder anyone can play defrag right now at all.
Core movements there.
Well, yeah. And all of the HUD stuff that P's done.
Yeah.
He's done like a million lines of HUD code.
I'm out of here. See you guys.
All right.
See you,
Yeah.
bud.
See you, Pansy.
See ya.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I've been rambling too much. But yeah, if more art people want to get in touch with us, please do. Like, I think we probably will do this after 010, but in general, like, our team is not this kind of like monolith of like, you know, only special people can join the team or whatever. Like, anyone that wants to get involved, like, really do give us a shout, and we're very welcoming to people and like working with new people. I think we really should reach out and try to be more nice, Nick. Like encouraging of people after 010 anyway. And we've kind of been doing that a bit less for the last like 6 months or so because we've been really focused on 010, but like the sentiment's always there. Like, we really do want to get anyone that like wants to just be actively involved in Momentum, kind of regardless of like whether they have really specific expertise. Like, it's very often we can find uses for people. It's just like we need to be like talking to people a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, chili launch first try.
Easy. Wait, what?
I was gonna say like easy in confirmation. You got the first 3 jumps.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't know what happened there.
Just got lost.
Yeah. Happens.
Yeah. Also, yeah, anyone that contributes does get free tickets to our MomCon. So.
Yes.
Which. He would be proud-ish. Kitty was great. I've not heard from him in ages, but.
Yeah, I hope he's alright.
Yeah. No, it's interesting with like I was running Half-Life 2 around like 2015-ish, where
Optimum time.
it was like I got into it around then, and then like started uni, and then like every now and then when I had a bit of free time, I'd like do a bit of HL2 stuff, and then void clipping got found, and I just gave up like hella fucking fast.
Good time to get out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, dog shit. But Chili's movement was fucking sick. Like I think yours was like quite solid and consistent. Like Maxim was like showy and like taught everyone lots of stuff, right? Like Maxim's like was like very innovative.
Yeah.
And then you were like doing the actual runs quite consistent. And then Chili was like actually like surprisingly quickly, I felt like actually had better movement than you. No offense.
Yeah. No.
But, you
yeah.
know, like, he was, like,
even today,
super
I'm.
fucking-
Yeah. Even today, I'm not really like that great. I just mainly muscle memory for all of it.
Yeah. No, watching some of the younger lot.
Whoa.
2021 or something.
What?
Or like it was known, but I think people started using it in Half-Life 2 in like 2021.
2021 for ABH?
Oh.
Wait, what?
Plus Strafe.
Oh, plus Strafe.
ABH.
Yeah, it was known.
it.
Just
Even when I was running it, like and getting like hour and a half runs, like I just walked.
yeah.
When are we adding voice?
Oh, Chili was around when BBT was found. Okay, yeah. No, Chili was always really funny. Like very like dry but fun. Still, one of the best maps that we have in Momentum is once you finish this, Nick, just before we go, show the Reptile World Record, which is Chili's map, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, BBT and then the Red Letter Day skip.
Yeah.
Stuff.
But that was
insane.
like genuinely getting that. What was first, BBT or Quick Clip?
I think Quick Clip was known about because of Old Engine.
Okay, right. Because when I started to get it back into like Alpha to a bit around like 2019, it was. These are all legit. These runs, I think. I think Tinifix is legit.
25 seconds?
I think so. Maybe not.
I'll watch those next.
But the God, it's a cool route.
Yeah.
It's such a great map. Like I love the style of it. Like it's
Motorcyclist outside really is looking forward to the race.
That guy is excited.
So
He's a
cool.
happy boy. That guy is hot.
Jesus, I love those open maps.
Yeah.
When you
I don't play Tinifix. Yeah.
Oh, it's too great.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think Tinifix is
no,
legitimate.
Okay. There's one that's a legit.
It might be Bugga.
Nathan's is legit. Nathan's will be legit. We'll probably show that. Probably. Let's watch Nathan. Nathan's a friend of the show.
Yeah, it just looks like a more optimized like launch. Yeah. Closer to the ground. Oh my god, never mind. What? That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Just the routing
I got
on...
a delay. But what the fuck?
Yeah, what Happy was saying, right? Like these open kind of concept maps where you can You just gotta really know your way around the modes. Oh, I see. A pause right there, so there's even more space for improvement there. Wow. Wow, yeah. Very cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's where we'll end it. Is there anyone currently... Oh yeah, there's a couple of people. Is somebody streaming? Can I complete Surf Kitsune? Hopefully they can. Well, anyway. Yeah, I thank you all for watching. I'm back. These are always fun to do. We thought this wasn't gonna take 3 hours. We're 20 minutes even over. That's awesome. Yeah, it's always a good time. It's always fun. It's always fun showing off the game, even the little bits of in development stuff that will be way fleshed out down the road. It's always fun to show it off. So
the cool stuff is there, but we'll have the fancy stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And like actually playable. But that'll be
fun. So yeah, we're gonna raid this person. They're currently trying to complete Surf Kitsune, and I think the raid message for this one is yes you can, smiley face. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. It's always a good time. We'll see you all in the next one. Tom will likely stream later. I don't know
God.
today, but
I've gotta
like
finish
later
fucking
this
Lockxta.
week.
I'm not doing it
So
today, yeah.
make sure to follow
Maybe
if you
tomorrow.
want to see some development. But thank you all so much for watching. So yeah, catch you all.
Yeah.
Enjoy this streamer. Catch you all in the next one.